Welcome to Continue Mission Radio with Captain James McCormick. By veterans, for veterans. Guest hosts tonight are author Greg Meekin and Miss Val, our military radio gal. Continue Mission starts now.
You got me headed to the left, headed to the right, headed back and forth, but baby, it's alright. You got me going to the east, going to the west, going up and down, cause baby, you know best. All day, all night, running around, I'm never gonna stop because you never settle down. Shooting into space, flying at the sun. I'm never coming back, cause baby.
Welcome to Continue Mission on the Seekers.
Good morning.
From the Inside Radio Network. Val Olson, go ahead.
Well, I'm just thrilled to be here. Episode 19 today. Greg, there is so much to talk about. Let's just welcome our guests. We are an international radio show, so we have so many people just to welcome today in different time zones. So if you're listening on replay, that's okay. We love you too, and we are interactive. So you can always private message us or, just comment if you're watching right now. We'd love to say hello to you and let us know where you're watching from today. Greg?
Yes, indeed. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back, Val Olson. We haven't done radio in about a week, last Wednesday. Welcome back. You're looking great. I like your background. Everyone likes my background.
Yeah.
Don't know why. Welcome to everybody. Whenever we go out, this is a live radio show on a live radio network. And every Wednesday at 9 o'clock hard start Pacific time, or later when we're trying to get our logistics set up, it will improve every single week because truly we are trying to perfect. We're trying to perfect not only a network, but what will end up being 9 consecutive radio shows. I think I just said that, Val. I've been keeping that private. But I'm thrilled. We never know where we're going to go out to because of sharing and replatforming. You and I just jumping right onto the Continue Mission brand here. Continue Mission is a radio show that is by veterans and for veterans. It's a I believe a 12-year brand. Friday nights with Captain James McCormick and his partners in crime, Father Mike Pacella and Rich Kilblain, historian. There's a great photo of the badass himself, Captain James McCormick. Captain McCormick, he was trying to make it in today, as you remember, Val. And he's a last-minute scrub in that he could not parachute in. He's in Washington, D.C. today. Captain McCormick is the executive director of the Vietnam Vets of America. We will be talking about them. 98,500 plus, multi-hundred thousand reach. And Captain McCormick tried to parachute in, but he got up to his eyeballs or something in Washington, D.C. today. He's doing a lot. I don't know who he's meeting with. Not sure whether it's congressmen, senators, whether he's in a committee meeting. Don't know if he'll be chatting with maybe the executive branch or past executive branch. You never know. You never know with Captain McCormick. He reaches out, salutes to all you veterans that will end up listening in today and or share and replatform. Captain McCormick is the past national commander of the Military Order of the Purple Heart. He's our local resident war hero. So he does salute to everybody. He shouts out to you, Miss Val. Miss Val, their military radio gal. And we're going to be having Captain McCormick pop in hopefully every Wednesday whenever he can make it.
Yes.
So that was a last minute scrub, which is a good scrub, though. There he is again, I'll tell you what. Also, to let you know, And to let you know, for hour two, once we wrap up Continue Mission, is Secrets from the Inside, which is you and me, basically. And we had a guest scheduled also, once again, kind of a last minute um, rain check. Art Sutherland. Oh, goodness. The Iceman. He is the Iceman himself. Great photo there, Val. Awesome on the screen. Art Sutherland. God, let me shout out here to him. Let me take a minute. I got off the text with him probably about 12 and a half minutes ago, also running by the seat of his pants. Real quick, Art Sutherland is the premier ice maker, ice rink maker in the world. He founded a little company in British Columbia, Victoria, BC. Victoria, BC, where my cousin Sally lives, and I have some friends, is, believe it or not, the launch pad for international ice in the world. Art Sutherland has produced, it sounds like a commercial for him. He founded Accent Refrigeration in Victoria, BC, and Art Sutherland has produced virtually all of the ice that has ever been built for Olympic Games, the Winter Olympics, since Lake Placid. He wasn't involved in Lake Placid, but he was present there, I think, as an intern. That was like 1980. We'll let him tell you about that. But he has all of the Olympics, as you've seen, the ice that Apollo Ono won his gold medals on, blah, 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 all produced by Art Sutherland. And A Small World, Art Sutherland also produced the ice from scratch for Bremerton Ice Arena. And that's how I know him from 20 years ago. The cool thing.
He's busy because he's a new grandpa too. He has the cutest little grandbaby. He posts these pictures and they remind me of Anna Getty's photos, like just the sweetest little baby, magazine cover photo worthy. They are so adorable. And he's just a great grandpa, I can tell. So when we get him on the show, I know you want to talk ice, but I want to talk grandpa duty. Like, you know, what kind of memories is he making? Because he's all over the place. I follow his page. I love his Facebook page. He is just everywhere. And we've got lots to ask Art. So shout out to Art this morning. Hi.
And you know what's funny is you say we want to talk ice and stuff. No, family and babies, kids, grandkids come first on this brand, with this brand. It is fatherhood, it's mentorship, it's granddaddyhood, it's home media moms. The home front comes first. And this you'll find an interesting parallel with most of my contacts and my friends. You'll see that common denominator. And Art Sutherland he's traveled the world about 500 times around. He is, matter of fact, the last time we tried to get him on a Secrets from the Inside show, he was you might remember, he was in Spain.
Yes.
So yes, he indeed endlessly travels. I bet he doesn't pay a dime for airfare because of his incredible mileage, but that he flies. Yes, indeed, a true. Tell you what, one of the dearest men I've ever met in my life. Seriously, he's been a friend for over 20 years now. So I'm going to jump off the Art Sutherland cooing. We'll really have a fun show with him though next time. Because again, it's not just the ice, it's not the hockey, it's not the politics, it's not the big stuff. It really is just the one-on-one connecting with people, and when the audience will connect with Art Sutherland like you won't believe. Anyhow, enough cooing on there. Our second guest I had, this is news to you, Val. Don't you love it? Breaking news. We had a guest also pending for actually hour 1 or hour 2. You'll laugh at this. I'm having fun this morning. I'm just slowing down. Okay. I had my 19th coffee a little bit ago. So, usual up since 3:30, 4 this morning. Right. I always like to get up early so that I beat all of my friends to work. Even my religious friends were up at 5:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and him. So the guest I had, I was pending a conversation with for hour 1 and 2. Hour 1 being a military connection, and hour 2 being a technology connection, is a gentleman named Andre Fournier.
Oh, yes. He is overdue to be on our show. I have so many questions for him. Probably
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? People will have a hard time catching up with you and me, Val, because we've been doing this for 2 years, almost 3 years, but 2 years. And we're all over YouTube, of course. But Andre Fournier, here we go. Here, I'll just go right for it here. Andre Fournier invented caller ID. If you've ever used caller ID, you can thank Andre Fournier. If you've ever used standalone GPS, like Google Maps, you can thank Andre Fournier, tech genius of all time. I won't even start cooing over him, but we're going to have Andre in because he's a world-renowned IT expert. He's sought out around the world. He's an old retired hockey dad, old beat-up Montreal hockey player guy, but he happens to be the most in-demand IT guy in the world, almost in the world. Okay, and as Val he knows Elon Musk. We know that, Val. So
yes.
we're gonna have to have him call in a favor one of these days. But Andre, unfortunately, is in Taiwan today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I touched base with him yesterday. I said, "Hey, we're overdue here. Overdue. Yeah, if you want to, if you want to do some past research, check out. We did 2 straight shows with Andre Fournier.
It was hours. There's hours of secrets from the inside. So Andre has talked with Elon Musk, and I kind of really grilled him about these conversations and discussions they've had and the work that he's doing. And I won't break this, but if people are following and want to do their homework and say, oh yeah, right, how does this guy talk to Elon Musk? You can go on Greg Meakin YouTube channel and just type in Andre Fournier, and you will be able to hear the interview bit by bit. So if you just want to zoom in on the Elon stuff, you can do that. But there is so many secrets that haven't even happened yet, but we're getting there on technology that will blow your mind. So it's worth checking out.
Yeah, as a teaser, you and I both know how much information is here. It's hard for us to even chat about the Art Sutherlands of the Andre Fourniers of the Captain James McCormicks. I mean, there's volumes here. But on the Andre Fournier subject, I'm going to make him laugh. By the way, I always remind him he grew up in Montreal in the 60s and 70s. Andre grew up, I'm guessing, a stone's throw from Dorval, Quebec, and he was also a hockey player, but I always let him know he was a completely garbage hockey player. He was a goaltender, and if I ever played on the ice with him right now, even though we're both old guys, I would still score and score and score on him. Okay, so we got that aside. And I'll trash my Toronto Maple Leafs maybe sometime later today. But there's my hockey talk for the day. But Andre Fournier, we don't just talk caller ID. We don't just talk standalone GPS. We don't just talk phone trees. When you reach a company and you get a phone tree menu, you can thank Andre Fournier or not thank Andre Fournier. But our last conversations, our last show, and I'll do this again when he's on. We were talking about cars. We were talking about technology. We're talking Elon Musk stuff, not what's going on today in the headlines, what's coming up 5 years from now, 3 years from now, 50 years from now, that kind of thing. And we talked cars. And with Andre, he talked the multi levels of, for example, EVs, electronic vehicles. We talked I just can't believe that conversation. We talked driverless vehicles. We talked EVs, different levels of driverless and EVs. We talked about maybe flying cars down the road and magnetizing and all that fun stuff. So I won't do anyone's homework for them, but we've already broadcast that stuff. When I have him on again, Andre Fournier again, there will be live updates from that old show because he truly does. I mean, he lives in the Elon Musk world. On the military side, I had prefaced this by saying I was going to have him in on the military side of as a guest on Continue Mission. I've got
Andre?
your attention. Yeah, I have your
Okay.
attention, don't I, Val?
Yes.
Because a lot of technology guys, and you never know their pasts. They can work. And anyhow, the answer to this, he gave me kind of a resounding no on that one. That's odd. Usually his no's come when it comes time to me like play hockey against him. Okay, but this one it was no because he really doesn't have a military background. You're gonna laugh at this, Val. He doesn't have a military background, and he hasn't really been involved in that world because he tried the military in the 1970s. He actually went into the Canadian military. I'm not I just know what the punchline is here, so I'm just trying not to laugh because he's a really, really smart guy, Andre
Right. He
Fournier.
has like how many patents?
I
I
think
couldn't count them
I think
all.
eight plus or minus patents.
US patents, right? And he's the guy that has had conversations, knows how to get a hold of Elon when we have a tech issue, right? We like Andre, remember when I get
Sure.
booted off sometimes? I get you to reach
Elon
out to
Musk,
him and it gets fixed.
sure.
He fixes
Elon
things.
Musk,
I'll just dumb
Elon,
it down. He fixes things and creates things and makes stuff happen fast. And his first car that he bought from you was a yellow Toyota. But that's for another day.
ooh,
Yellow Toyota.
ooh, good
How many doors?
memory. Awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Do you know that was over 20 years ago, Val? Good memory. Good
Yeah.
memory. No, Elon Musk wanted to talk to Andre. That's what's fun, right? Like Cat McCormick. Cat McCormick. Donald Trump wanted to talk to him. Do you know? And we've broadcast this. Do you know that Joe Biden wanted a photo op with Cat McCormick to prove how pro-military Biden was? Do you know this? You know this because
James
we
touched
broadcast.
on it. Actually, yes,
Yeah,
it's on
yeah.
record.
And he would not do a photo op. From an integrity standpoint, because he was there really, you might remember back, I'm digressing here, but James was in Washington, D.C. extensively, meeting all the big boys. I think he met Trump during that visit when Trump gave him 6 ties. Do you remember that?
Yes,
For
he did give
him
him
and then
ties.
for his boys, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was fun. But Trump wanted to talk to James. Biden wanted to talk to James. George W. Bush wanted to talk to James. These are the kind of people that we know, Val.
We always want to talk to James, and he could pop in, parachute at any time. So
Yep,
that's a caveat with this show that if Captain James wants to
yep,
parachute in, we just stop
yep,
broadcasting and we
yep,
hand the reins over.
yep, always. But I also remember my train of thought, and I have to finish up my story of Andre Fournier in the military. He enlisted in the Canadian military or tried it out, whatever. But he was after 6 months, he was asked to leave. This is the great. I'm going to have a whole episode on this. You know why? Because he couldn't cut it. I think the Canadian Army didn't think he was smart enough. Oh, God, excuse me. Excuse me.
Are
Okay.
you sure? I have his CV here somewhere. I could like
Oh,
dig it up. This guy, like,
I
there's
promise
nothing
you.
like it.
I promise you, I could go Gen X here, multitask and pull out his text. I couldn't.
I
I'll
don't
do it
know,
when
Greg. I mean, I don't fact check you often, but I mean,
6 months though.
when this guy is like at the very top, are you sure on this? Because that's a pretty bold statement to make.
Have you ever fact checked me and it's been wrong? The
No,
number is
I
6
haven't.
months.
I used to all the time, and I'd be like, "Yeah, come on." Okay, we'll
It
leave it at
was
that. I'll do my homework.
6 months. Okay, fact check me on that. And the quote was, I'll do a French accent here, Quebec accent, French Canadian accent. Okay, they asked me to leave. They asked me to leave because I couldn't cut it. I couldn't cut it. I couldn't quote cut it. Okay, so that's like an entire other show. Look, we're digressing, but that's continued mission. It's in the military theme. So I don't know who the Canadian Army is enlisting now. But if you ever had a chance just to maybe even talk to Andre Fournier for maybe 10 or 15 minutes on the phone, it'd probably be worth recruiting him. But there we go. We digress. But isn't that true?
I did recruit him technically. I did offer him a job in the heart and brain facility.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
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 So
Yes.
Andre is at the top of his game. Shame on the Canadian military. In fact, just as a side note, I've been on the lookout for Suman Kim, who's he's like a big shot. I don't even know what title to give him, but we have not been able to find him. And I have contacted the highest levels of the Canadian military, just at a local level and at, where they sit around the table and make stuff happen. Nobody has gotten back to me that he's located. So,
He was like
Canadian military has some stuff going on there. They need Andre Fournier back.
oh
A
my god,
second chance.
Kim, assuming Kim, was he like a colonel or something? He was way up there. You got me roped in. Good for you, Val. Was he like a colonel? What was he?
His
Or was
title was changing, but essentially he was the spokesperson of the Canadian department in the military at the very top, like the Department of
yeah.
Defense, and he was behind when there was Tampax machines that were installed in the men's military barracks across Canada. That was the guy who was front and center, but we couldn't locate him as a human person to get comment on this. And that problem just went away. I understand some of those Tampax machines were trashed, and I've haven't heard they've been replaced. So go figure.
And really interesting you bring that up, Val, because we did an entire episode on this, and it's fun that it falls into the military theme because James weighed in on this.
Yes.
And once again, we're ahead of the game. Forget Tampon Tim. Okay, Tampon Tim. Everyone thinks that they're smarty pants with that. No, we talked about
Right.
but there was again to kind of just relay. It's on YouTube. This was the most bizarre thing I have ever seen, just in terms of military and government, and the weirdest thing James had ever seen. And James McCormick didn't have an answer for it. This director, this Kim, came out with the press release telling everybody that there were going to be tampons in bathrooms. Yeah, old shtick. Can you imagine 30 years ago people talking about this stuff like it's old shtick? But we couldn't fact check it and verify it because this guy didn't exist. I'm going to leave it kind of at that, but there's a whole show on it. All of our show, you know what? Our show is going to be like the old Soviet Union again, Val. It's going to be, go back to Greg's YouTube channel, right? Either come to this channel right here, come to Continue Mission on Secrets from the Inside Network, with Val Olson facilitating, Greg Meekin trying to keep up. Tune in, you'll get smarter. But so the rest of the show, we'll say, hey, let's talk about something. And by the way, it's already on my YouTube, right? And it really is.
Yes.
So Continue Mission and following the military theme. Now we've talked about IT genius who couldn't make it in the Canadian military. We've talked about, boy, the theme is Canadian here, isn't it? Oh, I won't go there, Val. I won't go there. But so we got the Canadian military. I still love that. The spokesman for the Canadian military is not available for questions. He should work for Kamala Harris. That's what we got. That's what we got to do. We got to send Vice President Harris's campaign office referral on Suman Kim. I think that was SOOMIN, right? KIN.
Yes.
And he'd probably be able to help her out at not answering questions.
Well, I mean, I was just from a community and safety standpoint. No one knows him. Like, I've talked to so many people in the military. I put out my own help. Is this guy okay? Like a health and welfare check. Nothing. I contacted the minister's office because basically the minister answers his phone. I was directed to the highest levels of a minister's office to speak for Suman Kim. Like, can you imagine being a minister, but then, I answered the phone for my spokesperson? I did. I walked through the motions. I did learn he does not have a parking space like anywhere. I checked the parking lot. I checked what floor, what office, and it's just like, call the minister. We're not allowed to talk about him. So I tried, but unfortunately, I called after hours when the Chinese gentleman answered, and he was unable to speak English when I called the Canadian military hotline. There was just a communication breakdown. I don't speak Chinese, and the Canadian military didn't have an option to push one for English. This gentleman only spoke fluent Chinese.
Wow.
So there was just a breakdown there, unfortunately.
And the interesting stuff about all of our banter here, Val, is go ahead and fact check us, right?
Yeah,
So anyway, I'm going to
on
jump.
the record.
I'm going to jump right now for a second, and bring back a little bit. Continue mission. Brand again on Friday nights. James goes out to military veterans and stuff. And what's really cool, and this will be hopefully future episodes, his co-pilots, awesome co-pilots, Father Mike Pacella and Rich Kilblane, who's a historian of both Pacella and historian of Kilblane have published multiple books. So I just want to reach out to them. Usually it's James, Father Mike, and Rich Kilblane, or when they want a really, really cool show, Greg and Val co-host, right? We still have the record. I'm going to fact check James on this 200,000 that Friday night that you and I co-hosted. But cooing once again, that's on YouTube. See YouTube. I'm going to jump branches a little bit. I'm going to stay on the military, but I want to jump branches a little bit to another person who I'm definitely going to have him on the air in future shows. We're booked up, Val. We're booked up. You're booked up. I'm booked up. My network's really booked up, but we're just doing this one step at a time, launching a nice international platform. But there's a gentleman's name that no one's really, I'm sure, heard, Michael Golston. Michael Golston, that's spelled Golston, and Michael is spelled Michael. Mike Golston is, and I'm going to have him on a show down the road because he's an author. He's a retired, going off of memory here, lieutenant, Navy lieutenant, but he was a journalist. He was he wasn't with Stars and Stripes, but he was one of those guys. And we're talking Iraq. This is in the Saddam Hussein era, first Iraq war. He was a military correspondent. And Michael Golston's got the greatest stories you've ever heard. He was as a matter of fact, he generated the media talking points for one of their generals. I'll let him tell you that story sometime, but he wrote the talking points. He, as a matter of fact, unlike Hillary Clinton, he actually ran through Taliban mortar fire. Okay, seriously. He met Senator John McCain at the time. There's a photo of him and McCain. Michael Golston is still, I believe, featured on my website, which is gregmeekin.com, because he published a book called Any Road. Any Road, just like it sounds. And it was his story as being a military correspondent. But the synchronicity of it all, and it seems the way my life has always gone, is I met, I think he's lieutenant, in Longview, Washington, because I was selling him a car. I was writing contracts on a car, right? Everything starts in the finance office in a car dealership, right, Val? So Michael is sitting there, and the reason why this is 20, let me go off of memory here. This is like 2012. So it's a while ago. And I'm saying, hey, you're a writer. You published this book. And he wrote a really good book. The theme is Any Road Will Do. Wow. Look at that on the screen. Michael Golston wrote he wrote a review of my article at the time. And yes, okay, I'll try not to digress. I'm already doing that, but Golston, I was sitting with him in the finance office buying. It was a Honda dealership, and at the time, this is a while ago. Breaking kind of news here a little bit, and he won't mind me at all talking about this. But at the time, he was going through some very severe PTSD. And had almost authored the book Any Road as therapy. But the two things, I'm getting moved again, Val, here. You know me, I get a little emotional. Like Mike Russell, I'll cry on cue, right? But no. But Golston, and I'm listening to a story because he had fought for years, quote, struggled for years with the VA. because he was completely and utterly disabled guy in every sense, including mentally. And it took him years. But when I met with him, those beautiful moments that you have when you know you're meeting someone special. And two things happened. Once he said, but finally my VA came through and I'm able to retire, Greg. And he was a youngster. I'm talking probably 50s. And he said, so he was finally kind of getting the care, including the mental care that he was needing. He retired, and he was able to retire on a pension that could actually pay his bills, which is why he was buying a car. So I heard a lot of his inside scoop there, and that's about 2 or 3 episodes unto itself. But we're sitting in the finance office, and we're really sharing because we're both writers. And his pal, all he wanted to do in life was write. And that's why he was a military correspondent. But he was writing, and I told him at the time, I can't believe I'm saying this. Michael Goldston changed my life, Val. Because I'm sitting there, and he's telling me his story. I'm completely moved. And I said, so you just wrote a book, and you wrote, cool, that's cool. And he told me a little bit about his mission as far as sharing the good word. By the way, I think he's a pastor now. I think, there's the photo. There it is. Now we're talking live radio, baby. Now we're talking live radio. Good for you. Look, Continue Mission, which is also called the Michael Goldston Show. I'm reaching out to him personally today. I really am. I haven't spoken with him in many moons. Because we were sitting there in the finance office. I said, Michael, I have kind of the same plans in life. I'm like a wannabe writer. And I've just, published stuff over the years, whatever. Very Canadian. I'm very Canadian. I don't believe I deserve nice things, right? So I'm a wannabe writer. And he stopped our car transaction there. He looked at me, he said, what? I said, yeah, I'm a wannabe writer. I've always wanted to do, blah, blah, blah. He says, no, you are a writer. You are. You're an author. He said, you published a book in 1991. It's got an ISBN number. Then you published another one. I'd done more than he did writing. So he looked at me. Seriously, it was one of those moments, Val, where he said, you are a writer. It's just a matter of what you write next. Boom. Okay. And the second that changed my life. And I decided, I didn't know it was going to be that many years, but that's what produced why I came to America and what I think now. That you are a writer. He looked at me. You are a writer. So good. This is great. Forget Continue Mission. Forget everything else, right? This is just Greg's blabbering again. But the real thing I want, the moving thing to me that I want to talk to about Michael Goldston before I move on here. I think he's Lieutenant Goldston. Is I contacted him. I'm guessing. I'm not even guess the years. Probably 2014. Probably 10 years. Maybe 11 years ago, to just touch base and let him know that I either published something or wanted him on one of my broadcasts at the time or whatever. And I don't think he'll mind me sharing this. He was largely unavailable. I really could not get into contact with him or a conversation with him because he went through some really severe kind of repercussions. And I believe there was a lot of PTSD involved. I will not talk about it without him chatting personally about it. But as I've been in life, an older guy, when I contacted him, whatever that year was, Val, it was very disturbing to me. He wasn't in the game. I've had times in life where you're just not in the game. And he was largely unavailable. You know what it was? I called him to see if he'd write a foreword. That's what it was. A foreword. Because he already wrote about me, right, on the website, but he wasn't in the game. And honestly, God love him. He'll tell his own story on that. But I really hadn't Val, I hadn't recontacted him till this probably past few months, this past year. And the blessing, truly the blessing, the praise God, he's in the game again. He's back in the game again. And I couldn't be more thrilled in my life. You lose a lot of those guys, Val.
Not on our watch, not anymore, right? That's why we're here. We love our vets, and that's what this show is all about. So I'm so excited. I hope he can join us. And a military journalist, this is exciting. We hopefully will be able to book him in soon, Greg. We just need to have parachutes. We need to hand out parachutes for all of these guests, and then they can just buzz in and I'll be ready. They can just parachute in and I'll let you know they're here. You hear a bell.
That's right.
We'll be ready for you.
Do you know how cool this is? Seriously, you know it's a good show when you have no idea anyone's listening. It's just you and me talking, and I'm looking at the Golston McCain photo. I know inside scoop about that photo. But again, I've digressed so far today that I just, will reiterate. We're booked up as far as future guests, and no matter what, I have a funny feeling. I didn't expect to do this today. Right? That's why live radio is so cool. But I have a funny feeling Michael's going to like the clips that come out of this show today. Seriously. It's easy when it comes from the heart. And so he will definitely be in as a guest. The Lord willing, that we're all alive and everything's good. Everything's just one day at a time. Everything's just one day at a time. Sadly, now I'm 65, when I call my friends, seriously, Val, you'll find this more and more as the years go on. It's weird, but you call them if it hasn't been a while, and then what you want to make sure they're alive, because so many are. You call, hey, can I chat with so and so? Sorry, they're not with us anymore. So wake up in kindergarten every day, live one day at a time, live all your days like it's your last one on earth, and at least bring it. I know that's the way I am. I know that's the way you are. And then that's the way most of the people that ever have become guests on this show are. So there we go on that. I'm going to actually
really good.
I'm going to have you take a minute on your end. Again, we're on this. I can't wait to have Continue Mission in the future as our opening show.
Yeah, it's they are amazing, this team. And I was just listening to Friday Night Continue Mission, which you can do. You can join hundreds of thousands of other vets who gather and listen to this. I call it life-saving radio. And this past Friday night was just one of the best episodes on record. And Father Mike Pacello, what he was talking about was so relatable to me as, a mom and a wife and someone who deeply cares about our community and loves our military and loves our law enforcement. He was just putting out so much high quality stuff. In fact, I took some notes, so I'm just going to share a couple of quotes from the night that I thought was just amazing, because he was talking about healing at a soul level. And he was talking about, the role of mentors. And when some of these guys who come into the military, and gals, they're coming in at everybody's past is different. Some don't know how to even tie their shoes or personal hygiene and all these things. And they're having to come in at a place of, they have to learn this stuff at, a young age. They were never taught it at home. And that jumped at me. I thought, wow, when you don't have an upbringing, or you have parents that essentially do their jobs, and we're sending these adults out into whatever, where are they going to learn? And so you just think of like how the military, what they do, like what they inherit for people and how they build them up. And are we building these people up? Or are we just throwing them into wars, having them come home, and we don't have resources in play for our heroes? That's a huge problem when our military is shrinking. We are losing to suicide 22 a day. Like what in the actual is going on here? So we have to stop the bus. Stop
Yeah.
stop the machine, because we have a machine issue, a malfunction at the junction, and we need to go through this with a fine-tooth comb and deal with this. And so Father Mike, that's what he's really doing at a soul healing
Yeah.
level. So
Wasn't that
I hope we can get
amazing?
him on. Yeah,
Wasn't that
he's one of the best.
amazing? That was amazing, that show. And indeed, the consistent message through all of our missions, because we're this cool group here right now, this continued mission, and the folks we're talking about, and us on our side in Arizona, we've got contacts all over the country and really all over the world. But this singular, consistent message that I hear is not only national security, taking back, protecting the home front, all that stuff, but is this generations, is the young people. You'll notice, and Father Mike loves this. Father Mike Pacella, he's a Catholic priest. I'm going to make a joke about that on the air someday, but that will be more for Friday night, right, Val? Oh, that'll be for Friday night with the old boys. But I'll make a couple of Catholic priest jokes. I take no prisoners when it comes to Canadian humor. But the theme, and the theme through all of our work, is with the military, with law enforcement, with first responders, with, of course, Gen Z, basically kids in their late teens and 20s. Now get this, Val, you ready? Of course, Alpha generation. Alphas are our young teens right now. If you know someone 10, 12 years old, they're alpha. But get this, Val, I'm starting to analyze the beta generation, Generation B. Guess what? They're not born yet, but they're coming up after the alphas. But the key here is, and it's what you touched on. How do we fix this mess? And how do we fix this mess? This complete disintegration of our culture and our morals in our country. The answer always seems to be, it has to be with the young people. It has to be. It has to start with young people. We've seen only in this last decade or so, the public school system, the product of the public school system. We're seeing people now that came through the public school system in the 60s and 70s. And we don't even want to get into that episode right now, the state of affairs in education, especially public education in the United States and Canada and around the world right now. Another show. See my YouTube channel for that, right? But the theme is these younger generations. I talked to, I didn't relay this, but we're coming up to the top of the hour. Like, forget it, right? We're just going to keep talking. That's what long form radio is. And then we'll go into our hour two whenever we're in the mood. Whenever we're in the mood, Val, we'll go to hour two. This is too good. I chatted with someone as recently as this morning by text on these same issues. It's young people. Our responsibility as older people is to teach and mentor young people so that we hopefully won't have to fix a mess like this in the future. And gentleman I chatted with, who always has an ongoing parachute in invitation, is Sheriff Mark Lamb. And I chatted with his wonderful wife, Janelle, this morning. Mark, Sheriff Lamb couldn't make it today. He wanted to, both on the military, law enforcement, and maybe for hour two with Secrets from the Inside, because he does that great. Maybe even for Mike Russell's show, because he's been on Mike Russell's show. But either way, Sheriff Lamb was going to, or thinking about dropping in today. He's traveling in Texas. He's a busy boy. But Sheriff Lamb, and because I told him I want to have you on. Oh, look at you, Val. Look at the graphics. Welcome to First Class Streaming. Look at that.
It's a learning broadcast.
That's the homepage of gregmeekin.com, which is spelled Greg. I don't have to do it because it's on the screen. That's the real deal there. That photo right there on the left, Val, that was out in the desert when I joked, when he profiled me out in the desert with my little white car. He actually pulled me over. He pretended he didn't pull me over. I said, yeah. Now, whenever I talk with him, I said, remember when you profiled me a couple of years ago in the desert, just checking on me? But look at him. That was a photo from my camera to him, and there's another great photo of him with Deborah, my wife Deborah, who's there on that trip. Anyhow, yeah, that's a pretty interesting homepage. Anyhow, but I chatted with Janelle Lamb, and he is again traveling. But I want to talk about, and I told her this, and I told this to Mark. We've heard enough, not enough. You'll never hear enough of his law enforcement stories. Check out his law enforcement network or YouTube or anywhere on Live PD or anywhere on Cops. Okay, there's that story. I want to talk to him about his youth redirection program, which I wrote about, that he featured in his last book. Because whether it's military, again, law enforcement, first responders, I know some great fire people, first responders, paramedics. They're heroes right now. They're all Gen Zs, by the way, all Gen Zs. And this is what Mark's trying to do. It's a youth redirection program founded in Pinal County, Arizona. And I know there's similar ones around the country, but it's trying to, youth redirection program is what it sounds like. It's trying to get at-risk kids when they are at risk. His average age is 10 years old to 15, and they're not in the system yet. They haven't been arrested or quote, in jail. Imagine this. Yet they're trying to do an intervention to help these kids. As we've seen, there are dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of mentorship programs, Christian programs. This is not a new idea, but the way he does it is so beautiful. He has these kids, and they do it's a curriculum. And I'm going off of memory. I think it's 6 months. Going off of memory.
Can we? I hate to interrupt, but if I do, it's worth it. So I actually have. If we can just take 3 minutes, and this is a complete overview from Pinal County, just to give you an up and close look of what Greg is talking about, which is Sheriff Lamb's youth redirection program.
Right.
Mornings, we start about 9 o'clock. We work at cleaning up the farm and getting the area prepared that we're going to do therapy. My name's Kelly Houlihan, and I'm the founder, and our organization is called Hoofbeats with Heart. We had approximately 100 kids that have gone through the redirection program with the sheriff.
My name is Leticia Martinez, and I am a licensed professional counselor. I actually get more results faster here than what I would in an office.
I'm Nick's mom. I'm hoping that he takes advantage of that. Further trouble in the future. But it's been nice because he's really a good kid.
I realized that we needed to do something for our youth, especially the youth who are struggling, making poor decisions. The kids in our program are either kids that were referred by a deputy or a parent who was struggling with one of their kids. A lot of the kids are there because of experimenting with drugs in some way. If you were to look at your jail population, I would say that a good 20 to 30% of that population, and I think that's a conservative guesstimate. I think that 20 to 30% probably could have been affected in a positive manner if they would have had a program like this. We went to Watsonville, California to look at a program they had. We went to Scottsdale PD here in Arizona to look at a program they had. And when we had gotten through all those things, we came back to the county attorney, and I had a pretty good vision of what we wanted to do. Sat down between myself, the county attorney, juvenile probation, juvenile detention here in the county. We came up with the Sheriff's Redirection Program. You got to be determined. Why? Because does it always go right? No, it doesn't always go right. Ricky, what else? We decided to do 4 classes. So the program takes about 2 months for the kids to go through. It is a lot of work. I mean, I take time out of my personal schedule to come every Tuesday, sometimes Wednesdays. I've gone to these kids' homes. I've taught them in their homes. It takes a lot of time, but they're worth it. I try to be to every class, and I try to show up to at least a portion of the horse therapy on Saturdays.
The horses are very intelligent. They pick up on emotion. There's a lot of research to show just being around animals and horses in general, regulates our central nervous system.
He likes it. He likes working with the horses. He actually said it was really fun.
I love it. I feed off of it. I think it's been just as beneficial to me to be part of these kids' lives as it has been for them.
When they first come, they're like, oh, I had to come to a farm. I have to pick up poop. I don't really want to be here. And usually by the time they leave, they have a great time.
Even if this program only saved one child, it would be worth it. But we've seen that it's much more fruitful than that.
The program that the sheriff's built that we worked hard on for last year is a gift to these kids. I mean, everybody makes a mistake in their life, and he's giving them a second chance.
How great is
Wow.
that?
Wow, Val Olson. Live radio, you surprised me on that. That is so wonderful. That is so wonderful. On that, I wrote. He had. I'd done a full book review on his book, American Sheriff. Actually, this is his second one, but and covered this youth redirection program. It's the greatest thing I've ever heard. It's one of those solutions. What he didn't mention in that video, there's a 95% graduation rate of these kids. And it also, I had this chat with him. What I love is when I went to school for police technology in Montreal, that was only about a year. But I learned a lot about the inside scoop, about the legal system and that type of thing. But the thing that stayed with me forever, and Sheriff Lamb's program addresses this, is this. It's called recidivism. Hello, recidivism. Once you've been in the system, your tendency to go back. And the stat it's terrible. Again, jail creates just career criminals that very often go back. Recidivism is just off the charts. Anyhow, but the key is, and this is what I took from, it was about 1970, about 77 on this one. But recidivism is if a youngster, say a teenager, has an altercation encounter with law enforcement because they've done something wrong, what happens is you have two choices: whether you want to put them into the system or give them kind of a slap on the wrist and a learning experience and let them go. Seriously, those are usually the choices. And it was incredible, the recidivism rate when for these kids that were coachable. There's some lost causes out there, of course, that were coachable, like Mark's running into with these kids from 10 years old to 15 years old. You're really coachable, especially if you've got great coaches, leaders, mentors, and teachers. But the key is when these kids were just scolded to never do it again, in the right type of teaching experience, like a great parent would be, they never do it again. You just cut them loose. And it could have been kind of a crime that you could do it either way. The Sheriff Lamb always has the mantra to his for his deputies: do the right thing. It's technically it's not by the book. You do everything lawfully and by the book and stuff, but do the right thing. If you have a choice, do what's right in that situation. And so often with the majority of youngsters now, and I'm going to put the number at over 80%, if they were dealt with correctly at the time, they misbehaved. And like Sheriff had said, 10-year-olds go into his program. So they did something funky at 10 years old. They could be on the train to nowhere there. If you get them at the right time, huge 90%, in his case, 95% of them are not recidivists. Hello, there's a solution. And thank you so much. I'll be in debt to you forever for popping up that video on his program, because it described it better than I could. So thank you, Val. Back to you on that one. Excellent stuff. I didn't expect to speak at this length, not only about the redirection program, but the Michael Golstons and everyone else. So thank you on that.
Well,
great job
it's
on
been it's been a great show of Continue Mission this morning. We're highlighting our military. We love you guys, our law enforcement. We are here with you. And we're just thrilled to have so many of you joining. We have to say hello to everyone that's listening. This is an international radio show, Secrets from the Inside Radio Network. And so I think we're just going to take a minute, Greg, and then we're going to get into hour two. This is an atmosphere where we learn. So it's live radio. This is unscripted. We're not reading off scripts here.
Right.
And it's kind of like flying a plane. And so just bear with me. It's one of my first big flights this morning. So I'm pushing all the buttons behind the scenes here, and may look easy, but it's not. So thank you, Greg, for your patience. And I'll just give you a second. We will be back. We're going to take like a 30-second break only, just a quick one, and then
And
we're going
Val?
to head into hour 2. Yes.
Real quick, let's do a wrap up of Continue Mission. You're the best at this. When they go off on Friday nights, quick little plugs. If you can wrap that up, and then let's go to the next segment.
Yes. So Continue Mission is on Blog Talk Radio, and every Friday night, rain or shine, you can also listen on demand. Listen replay on Kim's network. It's Blog Talk Radio Continue Mission with Captain James McCormick, Rich Kilblain, who's the war historian, and also Father Mike Pacello. And this past Friday night was one of the best shows. It was live radio. We actually, James was driving home from DC, and I shared with you that what Father Mike was talking about with the soul healing, that was really a message to our dear vets who are struggling with PTSD. And he kind of has like almost it was built like in modules, how he was explaining it in where to start and where to go. But I took a great quote from that night. Some of the questions that Father Mike was asking: what is your moral IQ?
Yeah.
Are you morally bankrupt? So I'll leave that with you. If you are law enforcement or you're military, that's your starting point. So Continue Mission, check it out. And I will post a link on all of our lives here for Captain James Continue Mission.
And James's current mission is with the Vietnam Vets of America, VVA.org. Almost 100,000 members, $100 for lifetime membership. Join that group, donate to that group. James is heading it. They're based out of Washington, D.C., and they're not just talking around. They're not just chit-chatting. They're not talking just old war stories. Right now they have 42 pieces, last count, of legislation that they're trying to pass to be able to help veterans. And they are committed to, of course, our Vietnam vets, but also all other vets enlisted, as well as law enforcement and military. So there you go on that. And you go ahead and segue us to the next hour, Val. But cheers and salutes to all you guys out there. We love you. We love you. The veterans, VVA folks, Continue Mission folks. We love you. And we're there for you.
Absolutely. And don't forget, September is Toxic Exposure Awareness Month, VVA.org. These guys are working so hard and recognizing the generational impacts of toxic exposure. So you are not alone. You are not forgotten. This is your starting place. So check it out, VVA.org.
Welcome to Mega Matters Radio Show. Author Greg Meekin tackles the issues of the day with lots of laughs along the way. Raw, unscripted, uncensored, uncanceled. Mega Matters with Greg Meekin starts now.
You got me headed to the left, headed to the right, headed back and forth, but baby, it's alright. You got me going to the east, going to the west, going up and down, cause baby, you know best. All day, all night, running around, I'm never gonna stop because you never settle down. You got me shooting into space, flying at the sun. I'm never coming back, cause baby, you're the one.
Welcome to Secrets from the Inside with Greg Meekin, hour number 2 in the Secrets from the Inside Network. Where the heck do we go from here, Val? What an incredible first hour. Hello. Live radio is when you don't know what they're going to say. It's long form, commercial free, advertising free. Um, Even the broadcasters very often don't know what they're going to say or the other's going to say. I'll bet you $1,000,000 you can raise your hand and say you learned something today too, Val.
Yes.
I learned something today too. That's the whole key. That's the whole key. I'll give it to you here. Quick intro just of the show, and I'll take over after that. But just welcome everybody to the show. This is indeed Secrets from the Inside, episode 0019. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody as well next Wednesday, same time, same place. Go ahead, Val.
So we have people listening internationally. So we just want to welcome everybody. Canada, looks like we have Australia here. And I believe we have someone from the UK as well. So we just want to welcome you guys. And I want to take a minute and just talk about what Mega Matters stands for, who this show is for, and what they're going to learn over the next hour. So, Greg, where would you like us to go from here?
Well, actually, yeah, and it's fun because Mega Matters is really going to be a sub brand at Secrets from the Inside, which is going to be hour two, which is cool. And what it really is just diving deep into not only the issues of the day, but as Mike Russell says in the show later on, he likes to talk about other news. What are the secrets? What's the inside scoop? What's the stuff that's not being out there in the headlines? So Secrets from the Inside is indeed a 35-year brand, started with that first book, Secrets from the Inside, How to Buy a New Car Below Dealer Cost, and has evolved into basically 3 books. Look at you. Boy, that's rare. I don't know if that photo has ever been online on streaming. Very good. Secrets from the Inside, How to Buy a New Car Below Dealer Cost by Greg Meekin. And the little black and white photo at the bottom was of a very young 32-year-old car manager called Greg Meekin. He has hair and he's wearing a suit and tie. Okay, so that's another era. But funny, that ended up being I actually think kind of changed the auto industry. I think it actually did from a cultural standpoint and stuff. So, wow, look at that. But that's where this brand and this show came from, Secrets from the Inside. And that's what this show's going to be. Again, what are the topics, whatever. But what's the inside scoop? This is the 19th show of Secrets from the Inside. And previously in the old days, this is a couple years ago, Val, we started this on your Twitter spaces in the old days. So it's evolved and is now going to be Secrets from the Inside. It's going to be an entire platform, a network every Wednesday, tentatively scheduled for every Wednesday, 9:00 hard start Pacific, noon Eastern. And there'll be 9 eventually when the network's built out. There'll be 9 total shows. Every hour, long form radio, important to be commercial free. AM radio, and even streams now are impossible for me to listen to when there's just so many commercials and ads.
Right.
It really is tough. And indeed, you can't get to these really in-depth conversations when you're interrupted all the time by hard cold starts and commercials.
The only time we interrupt, or I interrupt, is just when we have to say a special good morning. Grizz is listening this morning, Grizz Pashki, and he says every day is a blessing. Every day is a blessing. And he also says, Greg, I hate to say this, relay this, but these are our listeners and comments, and this is from Grizz. So Canada is the original Tampon Tim. Is that really how we want to be remembered as launching Tampon Tim? So I agree. We need to make Canada great again. Mega Matters. Our number 2, make America great again. Make America, Alberta, Australia great again. We'll start there.
Grizz Pashki, man, I love you, man. I love you. Here's Scott. You know the name, Val. He's great. He's true. When you talk about don't just talk, actually do something. Grizz participates in these chat rooms and these comments. And this, I believe, he can correct me on this. This is at least 3 different shows and brands that he tunes into. He has tuned into ours previously, tuned into Russell and Hunter, and now Mike Russell, solo wise. He tuned in up in Reno when I was on that brand of Mega Matters up in Reno. So thank you so much on that, Grizz. He's a military vet, and he's got his story as well. So I just welcome you. You're what I label, Grizz, as an SRF, a stark raving fan, meaning someone who really gets involved, rolls his sleeves up, and wants to be not only part of the show, but part of the change and solution in society. So thank you to that dude. I really mean it. You've been a very, very loyal and involved, not just chat room stuff, just a player and a participant. And Mike Russell will say the same thing. And we would say the same thing out of America Matters Media up in Reno. So there you go on that. Thank you, Grizz. Thank you.
Yeah, well, coming up next hour, I'm just going to do just a reminder that we are going to have Mike Russell joining us. This is from his show live yesterday. I was watching him and I took this picture of him. He was in between discussing some big stuff. I'm not going to tell you what's on the menu today. You will have to listen to find that out. But in other news with Mike Russell, so that is next hour. If you've never listened to Mike, definitely start today. He is one of my favorite hosts on the radio.
Mike Russell, probably best kept secret internationally in terms of a radio person, because he's just the most fun person. And again, I have history there. We have history, Val. I've been listening to Mike since the very first show he did in Phoenix with his partner, Rob Hunter. And that was, I remember this, March 9th, 2000 was his first show. I remember that because it's Tanner's birthday. It's my son's birthday. But Mike, again, graduated to independence. I like that. Graduated to independence from the network AM world and is now independent. Watch this guy's show. Okay. The reason why he's on this network is because, again, it's not copy paste headlines. It is in other news. It's the scoop beneath the scoop. It's where new news gets its news. So do listen to him. And I guarantee you, once you listen to Mike Russell, seriously, it's so easy when it's from the heart, Val. I listened to his show yesterday. I was glued to it and participated in the chat quite a bit. We have a lot in common. Mike and I have a lot in common. I'm almost old enough to be his dad. He's almost 50. He's 49. So he's just a baby, right? He's just a baby. But I don't know. I might be a little soulmate or something of him, because Gen X, he liked and followed all the comedians and shows and trends and stuff that I grew up with. So yesterday, I mean, we're talking In Living Color yesterday. We're talking about South Park. We're talking about George Carlin comedians. We're talking about all the old stuff that I relate to. So listen to Mike Russell, and that's not even a paid endorsement. That's just saying he's got an awesome show. And once you start listening to him, you'll be following him closely.
In fact, you even devoted time in your book to him.
Do a quick, Val, you are so on point today. You should be a facilitator or an investigative journalist. You're really good at this. Why don't sounds funny, but do you have the book available or no? Is that
no? Well, I do on the screen. I don't have it in front of me. Okay. I have read the book 11 times, but I haven't memorized that part. Sorry, Greg. I am a granular investigative journalist.
Yes, the book exists. That's funny. Yes, the book is actually exists. Unlike some internet marketing products now, right? You say, "Hey, I'm waiting for my package here." But let me do this. I'm going to do this live since you prompted me. This is funny. The segment of my book, and I only wrote, once again, about cool stuff and stuff that makes sense, that's current, and that's good people and solutions for the future. And this one, look at this. It's great. I'm doing this right off ad-lib, page 163 in your information guide here, page 163, Russell and Hunter. Okay, one of those would be Mr. Mike Russell. So page 173. I love this. Val, you're getting my creative juices flowing here as far as radio and marketing. What page did I say? 167.
163.
Right? Yeah.
163.
Yeah. I'm still pre-dementia, and it's called Appendix 3. Appendix 3, page 163. Russell and Hunter, radio show hosts. See, I'm reading. Look, I'm doing this ad lib, Val. Radio show hosts at the time, 550 KFYI, Phoenix. Great station. I can, honestly, and I tell them, I have a hard time listening to them right now with the commercials. I counted 15 commercials once in between one of their breaks. That's 15 commercials too much. So anyhow, I'm digressing. Radio show hosts, 550 KFYI, Phoenix. And remember, this was published in the first year they were broadcasting, Val. So this wasn't current. This is a review of them when they were in that first year, and it was this. These are the new kids on the radio block. Write it down. I know very few people outside the greater Phoenix area who know these guys. The duo is actually a trifecta team. Libertarian James T. Harris, who is featured on each show, serves as pseudo boots on the ground liaison for the duo. Does that sound familiar, Val, as far as their product at the time? Anyhow, I'll just read one more quick note. It really is a good appendix. But in radio, yes, there are the biggies. Rush, Stern, King. But all these fellows started at the same place. A quiet and early place. This is where you can find Mike Russell and Rob Hunter at 4:00 p.m. in the beautiful American Southwest. Quiet, early, with fabulous talent and intellect, and a thoroughly entertaining radio show. That's just a portion. I think that's called a trailer or a teaser, isn't it? But it's easy when it comes from the heart. So to know that Mike Russell, in other news, is going to be the hopefully permanent fixture, anchor at noon, 12 noon, on the Secrets from the Inside radio network, is beyond actually moving to me, because it's such a deep spiritual, call it spiritual relationship, connection relationship. So yeah, I did how do you like that? Assigned reading off the cuff. You got to be impressed with that, Val. And go ahead, take the mic here and just wrap up anything you like on that subject.
So you were just reading from your book, Why I Came to America and What I Think Now. And I am just going to let everyone know that book is available for a very, very good buy right now. Take a guess at how much you can get your hands on that book for. $5. That's it. You can go on Amazon right now. I did just to make sure there's some in stock, because that $5 deal isn't going to last forever. But get it electronically so you can read it. It's a quick read. And I really like, what kind of the some of the testimonials of people that have read it, what they like about it. But one of my favorite parts here in this humorous yet insightful book, Greg Meekin draws on his experiences living in both Canada and the United States to compare life in our neighboring countries. With edgy humor and personal anecdotes, he addresses issues Americans and Canadians face daily, such as healthcare, education, border security, inflation, and more. So, just that alone, that's only half of it. There is so much we could unpack of issues. And this book, no matter which side of the border you're on, I've had Americans read it and Canadians, and we're all pulling the same things. It's relatable content, and it's inspiring, and it also sneak peek into, your friend list, I guess that's what we would call it. These amazing people who you have met along the way is just incredible. And you kind of go into detail of some of these friendships. And I love that. That's probably one of my favorite parts, is you've introduced me to like-minded people that I want to get to know, and I want to get to dig in on their ideas. You mentioned Andre Fournier and so many others. And it's a great book. It's so... $5 is a steal of a deal. So get the book. You won't regret it.
Yeah, ebook for $5. I want to make sure that, of course, it was cheap. I've always joked. I joked to Captain McCormick, if wanted to price it at $5, because if someone can't pull together $5, I might not want them as a reader. but that was so fun. I think you read the review that was out of Kindle, and it was kind of cool. It was kind of
Yeah.
cool. I really appreciate that, and I really mean it. And I appreciate this book went out initially. I published it back in 2021 and started distributing quite a bit in 2022. It went out instantly to multi countries. I won't, and full disclosure here, right now I can't promise delivery to anything other than the lower 48 right now, at least the United States, because the postal services around the world not only are brutally expensive, they can be very slow and very inconsistent. We've been on the air before where I've magically lost books. A book was taken out of the package in both Canada and Mexico. So full disclosure, we wanted to make sure the ebook is there for $5 US, really to anyone in the world. That's what's cool. We'll convert any international currency to the $5 US, and you get instantly on the spot the book. So I'm really, really proud of it. And thank you. I mean, thank you. That was an extra little plug on that, Val. I really do appreciate it. But it has been a moving experience because it pulled together for some reason right out of the blue a lot of different people and a lot of different provinces and a lot of different states and stuff. Or as people in Alberta would say, different. They forget that like second vowel there. Remember, Val? But that was the moving thing to me, because I just wrote the book because I was bored during COVID and just wanted to make sure I had at least my updated say and take in life and stuff, because I was going in for surgery, for hip replacement surgery. So I wanted to make sure if anything happened to me on the operating table, which my doctor couldn't give me 100% that I'd survive. He just couldn't. I said, so I decided to publish that. You remember 40,000 word manuscript in 27 days. I published it, got it on record, and I didn't know where it was going to go. I just did it honestly as a hobby and to get it off my to-do list. Make sure you write your to-do list in life. Get stuff off of your list, your I've list. I've done this, I've done that, I've done this. We're all really, really accomplished in all our own ways. But it turned out to be actually a radio career because Mike Phillip up in American Radio, when he knew about this book and it was out, and it's so related between Canada and the U.S. People in Canada think that they know America and Americans. They don't. People in America think they know Canadians and Canada. They don't. But Mike Phillip and I, and Dueling Citizens up in Edmonton, Alberta, on the American Radio network, we kind of bridged that gap for about 43 episodes. So that book took me to radio. And I think it was like 12 minutes that Mike Phillip had invited me on the air. You remember that episode 1. So there's my long blabber. But again, it's all personal, relatable stories. You've heard most of these stories before, Val, but I'm really surprised, honestly, of the stuff we've talked about today. Once again, I've talked about stuff, including this, that I wasn't really expecting. And that's the beautiful beauty of live radio. And here you go. I want to deeply thank you for your facilitation today. You've exceeded my expectations. You've created the wow factor. You've gone Toyota Kaizen, improving every day by the graphics and videos and stuff you've laid up there today. The secret from the inside is we're just perfecting this network, this funnel that will go out and already does go out worldwide, and we're doing it in kind of a prototype trial run, week by week, every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. We've started with 3 all-star shows. First being Continue Mission, second being Secrets from the Inside, and third being In Other News with Mike Russell. Right now, and this is a scoop, but right now there are at least 3 or 4 people lined up at the door for shows, Val, and really cool one. I mean, really cool one. I'm going to be really surprised if there is not a hockey hour. Okay, I'm going to be really surprised, and I'm going to be really surprised, much to my chagrin, if there's not a car talk hour. Since it's since 1989, people love to talk about their cars and the car business and car dealerships and industry trends. And even if it's against my will, I might even produce that show, Car Talk, because I'll tell you what, and I mean this too. I mean this. Car guys, especially at the management level, these are the hardest working guys you've ever seen. And I relate a lot to my past here. Very underrated, very smart, but really hardworking and dedicated. There's not the white shoes and the green sport coats of days gone by. This is a sophisticated industry. Very underrated people. However, and this is my concern, however, I tried 35 years ago to teach people a smarter way to buy a car before the internet. And even now, I'm not looking at it, I'm really not drilling down to it too much. My bandwidth, I've had a lot of practice talking about the car industry. But the more I see it, actually, the more concerned I am than I was 35 years ago. Not only with the crazy, insane auto industry out there, but with technology and social media and I call them funnels. I'm not going to name any brand names right now, but everybody clicks on now to buy a car real easy. You don't have to do anything but sit in your bed with your cell phone and do nothing. And you get a car show up in your driveway, and it's magic. It's great. There are no issues. The car is perfect. And that really kind of concerns me. I say that in that without even knowing or analyzing into it, there are a lot of costs involved with marketing automobiles like this. A lot of costs. And maybe costs that dealers didn't face 35 years ago, mainly on the internet side and advertising side. And I just flat believe that people are paying way too much for their cars right now. I'm sorry. I don't know if I can save them $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 now, but I used to save a ton of money for people in the past. But I just think, and I'm really concerned, and it's not just in the car industry, it's on everything else. I'm really concerned about youngsters. I say youngsters, and this really goes at almost Generation X and younger, who log on their computer and they actually trust their computer. And they will log on to, say, buy a car site. They instantly, and they're doing it, they're tossing their names and email addresses all over the internet. They're going to be spammed for years because it's just, obviously it's a marketing funnel. But in the end, I don't know if they get real. Oh, this is a controversial statement, but let me put it this way. I think they pay way too much money than they should. Probably because of, if anything, costs involved with those sellers. They're fancy name, cute name sellers and stuff. And everybody's in the business now. Everyone's in the car business. Everyone's in the credit scoring business. I tell 30 years ago, I walked into your living room with my wife, Deborah. I said, Deb, one of these days, they're going to use the secret credit scoring system that the banks, and I mean just the major ones. I won't name any names, Bank of America. I won't name any names. They use a secret credit scoring system, which it wasn't secret, it just wasn't public. It was internally. And only banks and only kind of I was a finance guy from the car business, so I knew all about it. And at the time, it was called, I remember, Beacon Scoring, BEACON. That was by Equifax. And then there was TRW, which is now, I spaced my pre-dementia. And then there was TransUnion. There were 3 credit scoring secret companies. The banks all use different ones, or depending on the country and stuff, and it would give a score to the consumer. And credit scores used to be anywhere from in the 500s, poor, to up into the 700s, which is great. And right now, over 800. If you have an over 800 credit score, which a lot of people do, you're gold. Financing anything you want. But I walked into my living room. I said, Deborah, one of these days, this secret world is actually going to be a cottage industry, commercialized. And that was 30 years before Credit Karma. But that's what it is. But it's commercialized. And the challenge for me, and in just relating to younger people, the challenge is business is business. You buy for one and sell for two. No matter what year, era, decades ago, nowadays, doesn't matter. Business is business, called horse trading, including now they're horse trading credit reports. Everyone's got a free credit report, right? These are national contracts, free credit report. It never used to be able to be available. But the message I have here is I think they're all great tools. I literally have looked at tens and tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 credit reports in my life, analyzed them for the car industry. My main concern is be really wary when you're on the internet doing business, period. Companies are not in your best interest. They might be as far as brand and mission and all that stuff, but they must make enough money, obviously, to pay the bills and be in the black. Because if you're in the red, you can't be nice to anyone because you'll be out of business in 5 minutes if you continue working in the red. So my message would be really wary of the internet. Please do not trust anyone, including big name. I say don't trust, meaning know that your name's going to be used. It's going to be in databases. You're going to be remarketed. And you know this. As soon as you do a search on the internet, unless it's with DuckDuckGo, my chosen search engine, right? DuckDuckGo. Anyhow, then you get spammed for 6 months about cars. So you don't have to do that. Do you know you can still make a cell call in the auto industry, Val, and actually talk to a decision maker? So that's my spiel on that. Oh my goodness, that's called a digression. But if anything, we're 20 minutes to the top of the hour coming up with Mark Russell. I've been blabbering. I'll turn it back to you a little bit here, Val. I do want to thank, normally I sit in comments and interact and stuff. We're brand new on our platform, but I want to thank everybody that's listening today. I know people in Arizona are listening. I know people in Nevada are listening. I know people in California are listening. I know people in Florida are listening. Mississippi for sure. West Virginia for sure. We have definitely some Canada. I'm sure 1 or 2 from Quebec. Definitely, I'm sure. Hopefully, if not brief platforming, was Alberta and the folks out west, British Columbia and stuff. So I thank you. And I look forward, honestly, to continuing to shout to the rooftops this brand, these secrets from the inside, worrying about you as a consumer, worrying about you as a family managing the home front, giving you solutions to how to handle this mess and this garbage and this craziness that we all see in the world. I think this is called a monologue or a rant, Val, but I thank you for that. But I really mean it. The Grizzes out there, these are the heroes, Val. They're in the game. The Grizz Pashkis, and we can go through a list of them. They're SRFs, Dark Raving fans involved. So I'm going to turn it back to you. We definitely are going to be probably 15, 18 minutes before Mike's show. I'll take a break on my blabbering, and you just take over for a few minutes here, chat whatever you'd like, as long as you're well behaved, as long as you behave yourself, Val, because I always say, Val Olson, 5'1", and we'll punch you right in the nose about the subject matter. So, and my nickname for you is Cynthia that we'll talk about another time. It's regarding a German Shepherd. But so I'll give the mic back to you. I'll take a break. Thank you, everybody, for listening today. And I have a funny feeling, too, there's going to be a bunch of replatforms and clips on this today. Thank you, Val. But go ahead. It's not a sign off. It's just stop blabbering, Greg, for about 2 minutes, like my wife would say. Go ahead.
So this is Mega Matters, and Captain James McCormick. We stop if whenever he can parachute in. He's a busy guy, as we know. He's in DC, and I just want to bring a past show clip in just to show you how great of quality is and how ahead we have been on talking about breaking news. So I just want to revisit from a past show for a minute. I thought we could just take just a quick listen. I kind of, let's get on a controversial subject like, say, UFOs.
You shared the most stunning story that I ever heard on live radio in my life, and I'm an old bastard at 60, almost 65, right? So it was a story. I'm just going to tell you, to folks out there, buckle up. It's a story of two Al Qaeda guys surrendering to you. Something happened to the other 20 guys, and a UFO involved. And I need you to take as long as you want, if you want. It was the most stunning thing I ever heard, because I said, I never heard a possible solution to the hatred in the world, especially from jihadists.
Yeah, well,
I've never seen any solution, but you presented one that might be actually a documented fact.
Yeah.
So here we go. I just turn it over to you, Captain. You just go for it. You're up on the next dance-a-thon.
Yeah.
Take the next 22 minutes, cowboy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I will just tell you that first. Let me go back to the in and out of the VA hospitals, and my wife traveled with me to Fort Knox, and in and out of Ireland Army Hospital, putting up with all that bullshit with the warrior transition teams, and it was a tough time in the military. I wasn't looking forward to getting out. I didn't want to get out. As a matter of fact, if they would call me back, I'd go back today, and go back overseas. And even though I'm getting older and I can't move like I used to, I figured my body would either adjust or I'd die, and look, I'm okay. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid to die. Now, some people are terrified of dying, and I think that's mainly because they don't have the ultimate belief that when you die, your soul will either ascend to heaven or go to hell. And I know mine will go to heaven. Why? Because I'm saved by the blood of Jesus Christ. And the best thing that could happen to these Islamic extremists is for them to find some of that love in their heart, and they'd stop doing all this stuff. There's no way that they can justify, even in their own religion, what they're doing is right. And I think that was the message that was relayed to these two Al Qaeda operatives who were part of this major ambush that was waiting on us down around southern Iraq. And then they ended up coming running out, surrendering, screaming about, in Arabic about some aliens that had sucked their friends up in like a tornado. I mean, it's the darndest thing. I mean, we went to the site. We found lots of weapons. I had a garbage bag, okay, and I had a duffel bag. A garbage bag, it was full of ammunition. Duffel bags, it was full of AK-47s, RPGs. Ask anybody how many daggone weapons that I picked up in that. There were just 40, 50 different weapons, okay? And unbelievable explosives that were lined up waiting on us. And all of a sudden, these guys come running out and they're surrendering. And it's like, where is everybody at? What happened? What happened? So they're screaming and they're going crazy, and our interpreter's going, they're screaming something about aliens. Are they running from somebody? And then when we got them, we found out that they were hardcore guys, man. I mean, these were killers. These were kid killers, man. These were people that would murder you, no problem. And as we got into the discussion and the interrogation piece of this, what they explained had happened is that that they were approached by these two orbs, and they were like silver in color and gray in color, and that they had just basically came in, and all of a sudden it was like a windstorm, and it was like a tornado had sucked up. They were just totally sucked up in this tornado. They just disappeared, you know. And these guys were hiding in and around a place called the Ziggurat in southern Iraq. And they said that this thing came down and spoke to them and said that they had to give up. They had to stop what they're doing because they're not going to go to paradise. You see, these guys weren't afraid to die. They were not afraid to die. But they were afraid to die and go to hell. Now, like it or not, you know, most people that study Islam believe in they call it paradise, we call it heaven. But they believed in their beliefs, and they've had this pounded in their head since they were kids, that if you kill the infidel, you automatically go to heaven. Well, they were let known really quickly that that's not the case. You are fighting against people that are doing good things. And if you do this and you're killed in it and they kill you in this, you're not going to paradise. And none of your friends have been to paradise either. So that's what really scared them into surrendering. So I say that to you all because it's true. It really happened. You know, I witnessed it. Several other people witnessed it. But what was remarkable about that thing was that from that point forward, you know, I had been wounded 3 times at that point, okay, in this deployment. But after that, you know, I had bullets pass through my pants leg. I had bullets ricochet off the top of my helmet. I had bullets go by my ear. And I had soldiers experience the same thing that were all part of that one group. We never got a scratch after that. So you just think about that. When I hear people talk about aliens and UFOs, well, okay, I think more on the case of maybe these are angels. You know, maybe if you read the Bible tells you that we are visited by angels unawares all the time. You know, when you entertain a stranger, you may entertain an angel unaware. So I really saw, you know, God's hand of intervention in all of this, because that's the only reason why I can explain why I'm alive today. Because I did not back down. I did not hide behind. I didn't. Hell, if I'm hiding behind something, guys, I can't see to shoot. I can't see to give commands. I have to have my head up looking around. And God protected me. That's just the facts. It's the truth. Losing my voice though, buddy. I'm about done here.
James, yeah, and parachute out anytime you want. This has been incredible. Seriously. If Val, I just could turn it to Val here a little bit. She's just been incredible. But wow. The title for that on YouTube was Iraqis Surrender to a UFO. This has been fact-checked, at least as far as it could ever be at this point, to a person who actually went through that. So that was Captain James McCormick. That's a previous episode of Secrets from the Inside. And those types of clips are on YouTube. I wanted to play that one specifically because I think it's existential. There's more to that clip than anyone will know, I think, because of the message. And indeed, if you think this is the first time you've heard about this Iraqi surrendering to a UFO, heads up is James has been asked a number of times to do a seminar tour just on this story. So I don't know if he still has that kind of time. His bandwidth is way shrunk okay, because he's changing the world in Washington, D.C. But that was Iraqi Surrender to a UFO, and by Captain James McCormick, and that was on Val Olson and Greg Meekin's show from a while back. So thank you for that, Val. We do have, as a matter of fact, Mike Russell coming up in this next 5-6 minutes or so. We'll wait for him to parachute in. If you would, let's stay on time here, and let's know where people can find our work. So much for another show. I have a stack of stuff we didn't cover today, Val. Stack of stuff. So I'll do kind of my quick sign off before Mike Russell comes on. Please listen to this last hour, everybody. My name is Greg Meekin, and that is spelled GregMeakin. I have a website, gregmeekin.com. It's got the coolest homepage in the world, but it's also where you can find my trending stuff, my bio, all that stuff, gregmeek.com. I have a YouTube channel, oddly, Greg Meekin, 1,400 videos and counting, 800 and some odd 50,000 impressions. There will be clips of this show. I'm 3 shows backlogged right now because of IT, Val. I just can't believe it. Shout out there if there's an IT person out there that knows AI, doing AI clips real well. You give me a call, okay? You got a job. Anyhow, but so that's my YouTube channel. And future show Wednesdays, you'll see this is going to be a consistent, ongoing international platform. It's going to start on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific, and will likely go 9 to 5, 9 a.m. Pacific to 5 p.m. Pacific, and be basically this kind of quality radio and this kind of quality interaction. That's my sign up for now. But because this being my show, Secrets from the Inside, with my brand, Secrets from the Inside, I will sign off the same way that I ever do, and I'll just I always do, and I will turn it back to you, Val. My message to everybody out there, if you haven't heard this, to everybody out there, especially youngsters and oldsters, is this: wake up in kindergarten every day. There's so much to learn and so little time, because before you know it, you're in first grade. That's my sign off. Val Olson, back to you.
So true. So Mike Russell will be in next, and we just want to thank you for watching today, and of course, welcome all of our guests. We encourage you to comment too. You can do that in our chat. Let us know where you're watching from, and the best spot to go if you've heard something today that piqued your interest, go on YouTube at Greg Meekin. That is a treasure trove of short, concise, to the point, little snippets from discussions. So there's all kinds of stuff, and it's global scale. There's no borders on this show. So I love the network Secrets from the Inside. Who doesn't love that? And that's what we want. We want the truth. So I am an investigative journalist. I spent most of my career in Alberta and Western Canada. I even delved into politics, but I realized if I wanted to serve my community and serve them right and well, I didn't need a title to make things change or happen, for that matter. So I am just living my best life as a wife and mom, a homeschooling mom, and just somebody who cares about their community. And I find little ways to try and make big changes. So I host what's called Soup Sunday here in Pinal County in Arizona. And this is a chance for some of our seniors and elderly and those that are looking to connect with that younger generation, and for my generation to be able to connect with our seniors, our boomers, our seniors. And it's a way for all of us to sit together at a table once a month over a home cooked, delicious bowl of soup and a bun. It's just very simple. So I'm the founder and creator of Soup Sunday. It has taken off. It is hosted at Mosaic Church here in Pinal County. But my goal is to take that pot of soup right across the United States, anywhere where we could just sit down over a bowl of soup and discuss and get to know each other and find what links us and connects us and bonds us versus what tears us apart. And I promise, after seeing this in motion for 2 years, it has become like the heart of our little community, and the kids love it. It's a mentorship program, so our kids as young as 4 up to 18 serve soup to our elderly, and it's so beautiful. I'll have to share a video one of these times. In fact, maybe I'll do that, Greg. Mike is not here yet, so we have a little extra talk time. So if it's okay, you take the mic for a second. I would love just to share a Soup Sunday video with you guys so that you can kind of experience it and feel it. So go ahead, Greg, take the mic.
That sounds fun. How what's the length of that Soup Sunday video? Do you know do you know how long it is? How many minutes?
I can cut it off and we can move
No,
it. We can hold
no
it over
worries.
for next time. 3
Let's
minutes.
play, let's play that. Let's play that before Mike Russell, by the way, he's doing 3 shows today. A trifecta. Okay, he did the first hour. He did and he started at 10 a.m. his time.
Yeah, I haven't
10
heard from him yet. So
Yep.
we'll cut mine off. But unless there's something else you want to go into, my Soup Sunday, honestly, we can
Yeah.
hold it over. It's
Good.
worth next week.
No, you know what? Go ahead and play it. I'm interested because I love that. By the way, imagine this. I think there's something on YouTube when Janelle Lamb, Mrs. Lamb, the sheriff's wife, did Soup Sunday with you. So no, go ahead and play that. If anything, for me, it was such a great experience. You do such a great job at it. Mike is, I'm sure, slammed. He's going to be ready to log on, I'm sure, any minute. But he has literally a show going up to this minute where he's been live for this last hour. So anyhow, yeah, go ahead and play the video. Awesome. Soup Sunday by Val Olson. It's awesome.
Yes, it's just going to take me a second here. Why don't, while I'm getting that video, just let everyone know who Mike Russell is, because we have a lot of listeners that have just joined the show live.
Right.
So we've got some new listeners probably logging in for Mike here.
Right. I'd be pleased to. I'll tell you what, Mike Russell is I call him the top radio guy in Phoenix. He has been at least actively here since doing the Russell and Hunter radio show, biggest drive show in Arizona. Russell and Hunter show. It was at 4:00 in the afternoon. Now Mike goes off at noon. He is independent, which is so cool, and he's doing such a great edgy product right now. It's in other news with Mike Russell, noon. And again, ours will be Wednesday, but he's going to be noon all the way through the week with for his regular show. And it's called Another News with Mike Russell. What I love is Mike is I call him a Generation X libertarian, or more appropriately, a Republican. Republican is a libertarian who's smart enough to vote Republican in order to win elections. Okay, and that's 3/4 of the way. But what's funny, and I learned this about Mike yesterday. We watch his show, and he's really active in his own chat room. He's great. What I learned is he's almost young enough to be my son, but he really followed a lot of the stuff that even boomers follow at the same time. Things like, imagine this, Saturday Night Live, In Living Color, George Carlin, the movie. This is great. Get 'Em to the Greek. Okay. The culty movie. It's great. I'm finding we're having all the same tastes and connections, which is really cool and really rare. I told him yesterday, he acts more honestly like a baby boomer than a Generation X, because he seems to, and he'll probably relate this. He seems to be, he seems like just a very traditional 1950s handshake world guy, total Second Amendment. He's a hunter. Goodness, you could give a great bio of him too, Val. He's a hunter. He is all man. He, as he says, right to the talking about eating the own food that he hunts. I don't have that expression, but there's your Soup Sunday. But can't wait for Mike Russell. He's a great guy, and I look forward to his shows because I've been a personal fan. I'm an SRF of Mike Russell myself. So this is the kind of guy. This is the kind of guy that I think is really unsung and unheralded around the United States. And that's just a regular manly man guy. Second Amendment, no nonsense, kid, family man. but he can relate completely across the aisle and have a conversation, as he says, like grown-ups. And he's also, as I mentioned to him, he's infatuated with the English language. And I told him that he was the second best wordsmith that I know in Arizona. So there you go. Oh my goodness, there he is. So
Yeah, he's
kick
not
it.
here yet, but
Yep.
until he gets here, I thought, well, let's just take a second and just show you what Soup Sunday is all about, because this is something I'm really passionate about. And again, this is what we do one Sunday a month, the first Sunday of the month. And at first, people are a little nervous about, do I want to stay after church or just come in from the community and eat with people? And it's really just taken off.
Oh, it's a beautiful day. Oh, don't let it slip away. Time that you walked out that door. Tell me what you're waiting for. Oh, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Oh yeah. I know it's gonna be days when it's gonna be hard for you. Let's go, cause I know a place that I really wanna show you. You say you just want what, and I'm wasting my time, but I ain't giving up, no way. No, I ain't giving up, no way, no way. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Oh, don't let it slip away. Time as you walk out that door, tell me what you're waiting for. Oh, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day.
Well, it is a beautiful day, and we are so thrilled that you are joining us today. And it's been awesome. The Secrets from the Inside Radio Network, an international radio show. And you never know what you're going to hear or who's going to drop by the show. And like Greg said, there are guests that are lining up that are penciled in for the future. And honestly, I'm kind of in the dark. I'd love to say who's going to be coming on next, but you have surprised me and shocked me so many times. So, you just never know. And I don't want to take too much more time because the show's going to get started here right away in other news with Mike Russell.
Yeah, and other news, don't trust me with the first link that you sent, because I'll stand on that first link all day. I really will, before I'm thinking, gee, I might see if they sent me an updated link. Yes, that is my fault. My apologies. Rolling in late. How y'all doing? What's up, Val? What's up, Greg? How are you guys doing?
Oh,
Mike Russell, dude, we've been cooing over you for like 2 straight hours.
Oh, come
Okay,
on,
I told Val, you're the second best wordsmith I know in Arizona. You
wow,
really are.
okay. Slappy is we're going slappy. Yeah,
I'm gonna have, seriously, this is so fun. I'm gonna have Val start a master list called Mikeisms. Okay, Mike. Okay, because you're fascinated with the English language. Not all people are, but my favorite, I don't care, of all time, it's a Mikeism, is slappies. That people are slappy.
Yeah,
because I picture this Looney Tunes character with the tongue hanging out, and you just slap the shit out of them, right?
Pretty much it. Yeah, that's what they are. So it's a DC just full of slappies. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Seriously, thank you so much for popping in. Val and I, like we did last time, we're just going to turn the show over to you. I'm really telling people to watch your stuff, because bottom line, it's got content. It's not copy paste all the garbage that we see. But by the time we get to 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, all the stories are the same.
Pretty much.
I know you covered a few things yesterday that if you have time to cover, I was so, I'm going to say, enthralled with how the attempted assassination handled, that, let's just say, the Secret Service shot first and answered questions later.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, you touch on at least that little, that episode and stuff, because everyone's waiting for updated information. But I love that, and I think I really connected with you. Your humor, the humor you watched over the years, Saturday Night Live, In Living Color, dude, George Carlin,
that's why we're not offended.
Sam Kinison, Take them where the food is. There's no food in the desert, right? Sam Kinison. Dude, you had me laughing yesterday.
Well, yeah. I mean,
But
those comedians are why Gen X is not offended by anything. It's
I know.
impossible to offend us and hurt our feelings because we grew up with the greats that made a living and a career and multi-millions of dollars offending everyone.
South Park. I just love that because honestly, not all younger people associate with that past humor. But so I said at the time, I said that, you almost are more a baby boomer than you are a Gen X, in that you follow a lot of this stuff that the old bastards like me used to follow. And I'm sure your parents and grandparents and stuff. But I just want to welcome you back and look forward to hearing your stuff. I've become, as I say, an SRF, a Stark Raving fan of you.
Yay.
Seriously.
Sweet.
So Val, introduce. Thanks, Mikey. We'll talk later and debrief. Okay.
All right, Craig. All right, bud.
All right. So I just want to welcome you again. And as listeners and viewers are watching, you're getting to know our radio family here. So I had extra time to show you kind of behind the scenes in my life and stuff that's important to me. But I'm excited today, Mike, to get to know you more. You shared so much last week that just inspired me, from a personal injury you had all the way to making it happen. And here you are a top Phoenix guy in the mainstream radio world. Everyone knows who you are. And so the fact that you would come on and just talk to our audience today and build secrets from the inside, I hope you have some secrets, and I'm going to hand the floor over to you, and we'll see you at the end of the show.
Oh, we're getting into gunfights. It's going to be fantastic, Val. I tell you what, and thank you so much. I will share the story, as I did a little earlier today, about a gunfight that I was in. So we'll talk a little Kamala Harris and gun rights and Second Amendment and why it is desperately needed. But thank you all for allowing me to be here. Huge fans of Val and Greg's, and they've just been part of my radio family for so long. And it's so cool to be part of their radio family and to be able to be here and to share with you as well. So again, thank you for allowing me. My name is Mike Russell. I have been in news media for 15 years at zero, just like what was the dang movie? I'm telling Ferris Bueller, who starts honking on the clarinet and says, not one lesson. That's right. Not classically trained in radio. Here's what I am. I'm an honest man who just wants to be honest with you and have some fun conversations about things that are going on in the news. Now, Greg did kind of tee it up for me. And it just kind of thought about this whole assassination attempt. I went off a little bit yesterday about Chris Cuomo and Chris Cuomo getting so much attention and so much love from the rest of basically from our circles, from libertarians, from conservatives. Yes, he finally gets it. He's one of us. He apologized to President Trump. He didn't apologize to President. I'm sorry. He might have called President Trump, and I'm sure he has the ability to do that. God bless him. And I wish I had the ability to do that because I got a lot of questions for the Trumpster, but he did not apologize. Here's what he did. Chris Cuomo said, I apologize for the way the media, and he included himself in it, the media is reacting to your assassination attempt. Not one, not two. And today, if you get into where he is today, maybe bombs found in an automobile near the event, maybe even a third coming up. Let me talk about that in a moment, but I want to stay on Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo apologized for the media response. Not the media being complicit in exactly what is happening. The media, you have Dan Goldman, which is the new Adam Schiff, the shifty Schiff, who is running for Senate in California, so he can't be the DNC's shill. They can't be their useful idiot anymore. So in comes Dan Goldman, little trust fund baby out of New York. He's now just saying all these outlandish things. Quite literally said that Donald Trump needs to be taken out. He needs to be eliminated, is what he said. The word eliminated. The media loved that. He's a media darling in CNN and MSNBC. And calling President Trump Hitler, calling President Trump a threat to democracy, they say, even though their candidate, Kamala Harris, is their nominee without one single vote. Who's a threat to democracy? Come on now. But calling Donald Trump all of these things has led to this. And I will be very clear with you in my opinions that the more Kamala Harris sinks in the polls, the more Kamala Harris looks as if she's Hillary 2.0. Well, the more this crap is going to happen. I'm sorry we have not seen the last of it, y'all. And the fact that we have so far already moved away from the Florida would-be assassin, we've already moved away from it as a mass media. We'll bring up DeSantis today, brought up a couple of things, and it's whatever. That's frightening. That goes to show you that and all my puns are intended, by the way, that the left and the deep state has more ammunition, has more loaded up ready for Donald Trump, period. They had tried lawfare against him and got crushed. Now things are escalating. As we move forward in the next 50 days, I still think that the greatest thing is going to happen in after these 50 days is that we won't have to watch political ads anymore. Oh, it's blinding. But as we ramp up and get towards early polling and mail-in ballots are showing that Donald Trump is, these things are going to happen. I do commend Chris Cuomo for saying that if he were Donald Trump, he would be nowhere to be found. He'd be gone. If that happened to him, he'd be gone. I agree. Look, if I know that more attempts are coming and somehow seemingly a man with, and I shall read for you. It's a big enough font. I don't need my glasses, Greg. All right, here we go. The would-be shooter in Florida, records from Guilford County Sheriff's Office show, ready for this? 74 prior arrests and over 100 charges against this slappy between 96 and 2014. Dude's a career criminal. 74 arrests, 100 charges. Charges range over the years, include 6 counts of manufacturing, or possessing weapons. Ready for this? Not just weapons. We can stop there and go, okay, he's got weapons charges against him. Weapons of mass destruction. I'm reading from the Guilford County Sheriff's Office. 6 counts. Manufacturing or possessing weapons of mass destruction. 4 counts of possessing stolen property. A hit and run charge. And a partridge in a damn pear tree. Dozens of traffic violations, whatever. Mind blown. Again, my puns are always intentional. This cat is right out of central casting for a either patsy or a would-be assassin. Why in the world in 2019, by the way, investigation opened up, visited him, his FBI looked into this guy. He's been on the FBI's radar. This guy went to Mar-a-Lago or Trump National, which I don't understand the real estate of it all. I'm geographically illiterate. They hid in the bushes apparently overnight, and that's he can get away with that. I'm more confused on how that happens than I am that MSNBC actually had cameras on the golf course that day when it wasn't on his public record that he'd be golfing that day. It's much like when Stone was raided and CNN was there during the FBI raid, magically at his house. Isn't that funny? Just so you know, I believe in coincidences. I've just never seen one. And here we are. So there we are. Donald Trump has had not 1 but 2 assassination attempts, potentially 3 if they get to the bottom of the explosives in the car at his latest event, where 60,000 people were, by the way. 60,000 tickets were sold. 60,000. Yeah, I mean, he's a rock star. He is an absolute rock star. And I'm going to tell you a little bit, ABC's and me, full disclosure, I was voting for RFK Jr. Period. It's the libertarian in me, and it's the I'm damn tired of being lied to in me. And this guy has made an entire career of exposing lies of major organizations. I want him around. Let's give that guy a shot. Jumped on the Trump train. Guess who else jumped with him? Me. And I voted for Donald Trump twice. So I was going to vote for RFK Jr. Now I'm voting for Donald Trump thrice. And very proud of it. And I'm going to get to that in a moment. You understand that RFK Jr. and his thing, Make America Healthy Again, is amazing. If you don't believe that, we were just talking about boomers versus Gen X's. Look at a picture of any crowded beach of boomers. Then look at a picture of any crowded beach of Gen X. Then look at any crowded beach today. It's like somebody is inflating these people. It's behind them with a valve stem going and making them gordo, making them huge. And RFK Jr. knows damn well why. We all know damn well why. We do. We really do. We really do. And we've chosen that, something inside of a grocery store, those inside aisles where everything is manufactured and just full of poison. We're all about it. I'm all about it. Don't get me wrong. I am. But I've taken the choice to go the RFK Jr. route, and I'm an outdoorsman, sportsman. I have a freezer full of game meat that I eat regularly. And I think it's important to jump on that kind of bandwagon. What I don't like is what happened today. And this is why I bring up RFK Jr. What I don't like about it is that he called his shot. I don't want you to call your shot. The establishment and deep state is already after you and Trump, dude. They are. And thank God they're not after Nicole Shanahan. She's fantastic. RFK Jr.'s running mate. She is the wife of the co-founder of Google. Money. And the Democrat Party completely screwed her over with lawfare and her running mate. And so now she's just making professional videos exposing the Democrats, just basically just trolling Democrats. I'm hearing that. Pick the fight with the wrong woman. Just with the wrong woman. Anyway, RFK Jr. called his shot today, and I'm upset about it. What he said was his plan in joining the Trump White House is launching a RICO case. Remember this, how amazing that is, right? A RICO case linking the medical profession, your doctors, with the basically pharmaceutical industry in a collusion RICO case that can bring the entire thing tumbling to the ground. And I applaud that. But what did you do? You just went and woke the bear up. You just went and poked the bear that is now going to be pouring bazillions of dollars into the Harris Walz campaign. I just didn't like the move. And look, he's a Kennedy, so he's got that confidence. I'm going to say confidence, I'm being sweet. He's got that Kennedy confidence to him. And he thinks kind of untouchability. I think that after RFK Jr., can we just be done? I don't want any of the Trumps to run. I don't want Chelsea Clinton to run. I'm done with these like family political dynasties. We're just done. Be done. Scoot. God, I thought Meghan McCain was going to run. Oh, thank God she did not. Whew. I would have been shaking had I had to vote for Meghan McCain. My name for her is not appropriate to say on here. I've met her several times. I'm in Arizona. She is a staple here, and she makes sure that she is a staple here. Make sure that you know damn well who she is. Anywho. Anyway, in other news. RFK Jr. needs to just say, I'm going to do great things, and I'm going to do my best to make America healthy again. How about this? I was looking when I was doing this America healthy again, I was looking at U.S. fertility rates, how they're on the decline. They're down 50% from 1995. They're going down. And by the way, that is only to 2023. So this is the last year. It's going to decrease them anymore. And I'll say it, and I have no problem with doing it. Say it, the jab, period. This is going to decrease fertility rates exponentially. Careful what you wish for, right? So RFK Jr. is truly poised to be a warrior that exposes your own ability to take control of your health and understand that you have been conditioned to, there's a pill for that. And by the way, not even conditioned to there's a pill for that, you've been conditioned to needing that pill. By what we allow in our foods, by the diet that we have that we've taken in as Americans and walked away from the boomers. Again, you look at the 60s, 70s, man, people are skinny, healthy. They're not got a beer in their hand. It's not like beer did it. Like my family tells me, you stop drinking beer, Dad, you lose weight. You stop drinking. Well, they did. Anyway. They're sitting there having they got the Michelobes in their hand. They're at the beach. They got their coolers. Everything's fine and music and people are dancing all goofy and they're skinny. I want a healthy America for my kids, for my grandkids. I want them to stop shoveling processed garbage into their face, taking pills that do God only knows what to their bodies. I think the campaign slogan in that should be my body, my choice. Just ram it right back at the Democrats. Oh, okay. How about this? I'm taking control of my body. What I put in my body and what I do with my body is my choice. Try getting me to get a vaccine again. Exactly. I am very proud, actually, to have a doctor here in Arizona that does not just a flu shot. Don't get a damn. What are you getting a flu shot for? That's why I know I have the right doctor. And by the way, she prescribes the Schmeiver-Schmeckton to me. I can't say Schmeiver-Schmeckton. I can't say the actual word because I've done that on another channel, and I got shut. So I'm on Val's channel right now, and there's no way I'm going to do this. So I say things that rhyme with Schmeiver-Schmeckton. Works for me, and that's how we're going to move forward. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks for letting me be a part of this. This is In Other News. I'm a host, Mike Russell, and a fun revelation. I'm going to try, Val, if you don't mind, I'm going to try to play. I'm going to try to play a piece of audio. A piece of video. If I could, I want to see if I can do it from this side. We're going to give it a try, and we're just going to see if I can actually pull this off. And what I'm going to have to do, just so I don't completely mess it up and play the wrong clip, I'm going to go like this with my glasses, and we're going to make sure that we get the right one. Here we are. Let's see if I can do it. Here we go. And go. Will it work? Oh, nope. You've got to play it on your end, but it's okay. You don't need to play it on your end. It's all right.
Behaviors among everybody in the community, and just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs. Have you heard?
What did she just say? Come on now. You can remove that, Val. Thank you so much for putting that up there. That was Attorney General Kamala Harris. Remember, telling Donald Trump, oh, hey, can't spread all these lies about me wanting to take anybody's gun. Me and Tim are gun owners. You and Tim are not gun owners. 1, 2, as a Attorney General in California said it does not matter if you have a firearm in the sanctity of your own home. She literally said those words, sanctity of y'all's home. We can come in and make sure that you're storing them properly, they're being used properly. No, you can't. Period. I beg a woman, please, Kamala, come to my house and try that. Not that I would threaten you with violence. I'd sit there with a big old grin on my face. I'd be filming the entire thing, and I would see you at the Supreme Court, my dear, because that is unconstitutional, period. Sanctity of your own home. There's no sanctity. Uh-oh, I've been muted. It says the host has muted my video. Uh-oh. Oh, unmuted my video. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Did I say something wrong? The sanctity of your own home is just that. It is the sanctity of your home. And you are an American citizen. For the most part, for those down here in the States, thank you so much. I know maybe some Canadians joining us, but here in the States, we have this Second Amendment, this pesky things the Democrats hate so much. Because understand, the Democrat Party sees the United States Constitution as a roadblock, something that is simply in their way. They do not cherish it. They do not believe in it. The Second Amendment ends with 4 words, shall not be infringed. Sorry. That is a violation of the Fourth Amendment against illegal search and seizure, and your Second Amendment, your right to bear arms, to keep and bear arms. Too flagrant. And this is a woman that is running for the commander-in-chief, president of the United States, head of our military, and leader of the free world. I love the internet because you can't hide. There's nothing that you say that you can hide from. It's all there. I tell my kids this all the time. And this is, I'll get back to Kamala in a minute. I tell my kids this all the time. Something I call a digital footprint or a digital legacy. That their dad has been online on social media since it became a thing. I've been doing media for 15 years. Streaming wasn't really a thing. You know, people are tweeting and this and that, and that's about it. You know, the dial-ups and whatnot. My digital legacy, my digital footprint is gigantic because I've broadcast every show. I've streamed the shows, podcast. I know the dangers in that. So much so that a Republican strategist here in Arizona years ago, when Trent Franks was unfairly rolled out of his position, asked if I wanted to run for office. It was my district. It was the people in my district, very small community, and there's a very large voting block in the largest retirement community in Maricopa County. It's right in my district, and I have peeps all over. I love that community. Could probably walk and win in a landslide. Wouldn't even have to do a lot of advertising. Came back a couple days later, the Republican strategist said, it took me a day to find so many things that that could be used against you in a primary, used against you in a general. So I tell my kids, I understand that. That's not your job, but I need you to know this, kids. And my kids right now are 19 years old and 16 years. What you put on there doesn't go away. What you put on Snapchat doesn't go away. Sorry. What you have on WhatsApp ain't going away. Encrypted my tuchus. It's not. You have a digital legacy that anyone can farm at any time, and it can be used against you legally. When you sign the terms of use, right? You go the scroll, just scroll. Fine, whatever, except I need to get my iTunes, right? In there is essentially it deletes off of your phone, but it doesn't delete off of our servers. It lives forever. Be careful what you post. Kamala Harris did not think at that time, because I don't know who she was dating at the time, that she would become president or at least a presidential nominee for the Democrat Party anytime soon, or the vice president, or first female vice president of the United States. She had no idea. So she's out there spouting nonsense against the Second Amendment in the United States Constitution. And it's come back and bite her right in the tuchus. And it'd be a shame if that went viral, right? If we took that video and shared it out to everybody. Yeah, that'd be a crying shame. Crying shame. I'm gonna Jen Kondasaki it, and I'm gonna circle back to what we have going on with the would-be assassin in Florida. And I think it's up to us. It's up to us as streamers, podcasters, to not let this story die. MSNBC's not talking about it. CNN's not talking about it. Fox News will talk about it. Newsmax Sports will talk about it. It's partisan. Now assassination attempts have become partisan. So let's make it nonpartisan and make it somebody took a shot at a former president. We ain't playing. And a presidential nominee. We ain't playing. And darn well, we know who it is. Just like when the pager started blowing up in terrorist land, guess what? We knew who it was. It was the CIA. Israel. Israel. Yeah. Yeah. So we did it. All from the same coffers. It's totally okay. But I want to come back to this, where today Ron DeSantis announced that he is going to have his own investigation, signed by executive order, his own investigation into this would-be assassin, the assassination attempt, and how it went down. And what I was most impressed with was, and I'm not a Ron DeSantis fan. Decent. I'll get to that in a moment. He was asked by a reporter today. So what do you think? Basically he's mocking him. Gee, what do you think you, as a piddly little state, is going to come up with outside of the intelligence community, who we bow to? What do you think you're going to get? He said Ron DeSantis, God bless him for saying it. Probably nothing new but transparency, because I want you to know what happened. You see, the feds get involved, you're never going to know what happened. I want the investigation. You know why I want the investigation? Because I want you to know what happened. I want to know what happened. It's the governor of the state. I can't even get the information. He goes, yeah, FOIA request anything you want here in Florida. You got it. We'll show you we're transparent. I appreciated that. It kind of restored my faith in Ron DeSantis. And I actually lost faith in Ron DeSantis for one thing. I mean, he's in the world of politicians, he's all right. He's not as greasy as some of them. He is he's just He's middle of the road. He's Marco Rubio. It might be a Florida thing. I don't know. He's Marco Rubio. Just Florida. Anyway, I lost all respect for him when he took on Disney. And if you don't know the story, it's absolutely hilarious, because Ron DeSantis didn't like that Disney was giving woke programming, right? There's LGBTQ stuff and, the two dads, two moms and all this stuff. And they couldn't stand that Disney did. Disney even put in some celebration scene in my beloved Star Wars. I'm a giant Star Wars nerd. My beloved Star Wars, in some celebration scene, two women kiss. I mean, they have to sprinkle that in. Ron DeSantis hated that. And he wanted to score political points, so he took on Disney. How did he take on Disney? For those who don't know, Walt Disney, when he was alive, sent his minions to Florida, and he said, I want you to start hundreds of different corporations, and I want you to start buying land in buildings from the center out in Florida. I want you to buy everything you can. Get it all. He had so much of what is now Orlando, Florida. He had so much land. He went to the state legislators in Florida and he said, I want eminent domain. I want utility rights. I want water rights. Every business you see in Orlando does not own that land. Disney does. They write their utility bills, their checks, to the Walt Disney Corporation or whatever, the entity they've created. Everything's there on a land lease. Everything's owned by Disney. Okay? And tax-free. So, Ron DeSantis said, we're going to get rid of that deal. I know Florida made that deal decades ago, and it's made Florida bazillions of dollars in tourist revenue, but we're going to because they're woke, and I don't like it, we're going to take that deal away. Dang it, that pesky Supreme Court again. Remember when they said that corporations are people? So what we now have is a elected official, person of power, a governor, taking on a people, which is the Disney Corporation, because he didn't like them. That's tyranny. Sorry, that's what it is. That's why I was anti-DeSantis. And before I get back to the guns, check this out. This is something funny. There's something called the King Charles Clause in the settlement that Ron DeSantis signed. And in his haste to sign it, Ronnie never read this. I assure you, Ronnie never read this. He's signing it. He's look, the cameras are there, big, state governor seal. And everybody says, he's so happy. Look, yeah, we took on the world. We took away their power. We took away their everything. In the contract is called the King Charles Clause, that what he signed will become active on the death of the final descendant of King Charles III. Harry and old Chuck, they better stop having babies. Sorry. The royals better stop having babies, or Disney's always going to have the deal they had, and Ron looks like an ass. That's why they don't talk about it anymore, because he got punked. Oh, I'm sorry, William. That's his name, right? William? My interns are gone. This is early. So they're not here yet. So yeah, they better stop having babies. Their babies better not have babies, or Disney just keeps their deal in Florida. Mm-hmm. Anyway, circling all the way back. Here we go. Back to the assassination attempt. So I applaud Ron DeSantis for doing that. And hopefully we do have the transparency. I doubt we will, but I do hope that we have the transparency. And one of the reasons why I am such a firearm nut is because they're fun to shoot. They really are. It's a blast. I love to hunt. I do. That's basically it. By the way, that should be our argument. Second Amendment peeps, I need you to come with me. Just lean in here. Lean in with me. Because I've had this argument so many times. I just need you to come in here with me. Just a little bit. When somebody asks you, oh my God, why do you have a gun? Why do you really need a gun? You know what your answer is? Because they're fun and I'm an American and I'm protected by the Second Amendment. It's my right. It's legal. I have a firearm. I love them. They're fun. That's it. That shuts down any argument they have. Oh, what are you going to do? Take on the government? Oh, what are you going to do? Shoot bad guys when they come in your house? Well, one of those is true. Hopefully the first one ain't going to come true. Yeah. But that shuts down their argument. Hey, look, guns are fun. I absolutely love having it. It's legal for me to have it. I'm a United States citizen and I'm protected by the Second Amendment. That's it. Done. There's nothing else they can say. And I want to tell you a story I was telling earlier, and I wanted to share it with you. As I mentioned to Val, I share. I open. I'm an open book. A while back, 2 years ago, actually, I'd always say on air that I wonder if I'm that guy, because we think we're that guy or that woman, right? And when someone buys a firearm in the United States, many times, and I'm talking a vast majority of times, people just throw that little pistola over there in the nightstand, and they think my castle is protected. This bad guy comes in. I tell you, I got a Desert Eagle 50 cal over here. They've never shot them. They haven't taken any lessons. They haven't taken any classes. They're not safe. They're not safe at all. I am. I've taken classes. I've trained, but I didn't know if I was that guy. What if I was in the grocery store? What if I was in the grocery store and I hear the pop, pop, pop? Am I heading to the door? Am I heading for cover? Or am I heading to the pop, pop, pop because I'm armed? Because 9 times out of 10, you see me, I'm armed. It's just because I like to be. That's all. I appreciate it. I actually had a point in the store where I'd come back from a hunt, and when I hunt, usually when I carry, I conceal carry, so you can't see that I'm armed. And that's just because I don't want to cause beef with anybody. I don't want. By the way, I think 3 out of every 10 police shootings in the United States are done with the police officer's firearm that is taken by the bad guy. Yeah. So I don't want anybody to know I have a firearm. I'm just keeping to myself, right? But when I hunt, I have a sidearm, in case a predator comes along, somebody, or I have to there's reasons I have it out, and I have my rifle. So I came back from a hunt and I stopped at the store on the way home. Right before I got home, I forgot I had it on my hip. And this lady came up to me. She's a nice little, cute little girl in a little summer dress, just cute as button. The mom comes up, taps me on the shoulder. She said, "Excuse me, it's kind of intimidating that you have a firearm." And I'm like, "Oh crap! It is my right to do so. I can carry in that store. Everything is fine. I am standing on the mountain of right." She was so kind, courteous, respectful. Excuse me, is there a way you can just pull your shirt over it? I stopped. I said, "Look, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have you're gonna be on this aisle for a second. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go put this in the truck. You are right. I'm gonna go put this in the truck. I ain't trying to cause anybody problems." But I always wanted to be that guy. If there's an active shooter, I wanted to be the one that stops that active shooter. Not a hero complex. It's just I know I can. And yeah, I think all of us do. We would love to save lives if we can. So it happened to me finally. It did happen to me. And I'll spoiler alert, I'm safe. I'm actually happy to report I am the guy. Here's what happened. My beautiful woman, I call her Queen Bee. I was over at Queen Bee's house, and it was late at night, and we hear pop, 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 pop. I'm from Long Beach, California, y'all. I know what that is. So I I just hollered to her. I'd go, get the girls. She's got 2 daughters. Get the girls. Get them back in here. And to the master bedroom, into the bathroom, safe spot, get there. I go into her safe where she has a self-defense shotgun. When I say self-defense shotgun, it's pistol grip. It's shorter barrel. It's easier to use and maneuver, but just as lethal as my duck hunting gun. So I go out the front door, and she's got kind of a long walkway to a half wall with a gate, a little gate up front by the sidewalk. And she's her house is on a green belt, and I get to the gate and I look around. I see people down the street actually shooting at each other. So I kind of crouch, and then I look to my right. I hear these guys. I see probably 5 teenagers, all with handguns, screaming and hollering, I'm gonna take you, this, that, blah, 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 blah. Just, all the words I can't use. And they turn, and I drop. And I mean drop to my butt. Because, okay, I ain't trying to get in a gunfight. I'm just making sure that no one behind me, my tribe, gets hit. So I want to see what's going on. Now I see probably 9 people shooting at each other. I start backing up on my butt on these pavers. It just is ow, 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 ow. But I'm like this. I got my firearm up because these guys are walking right in front of that gate. And if one of them goes like this as they're walking, goes like this, I'm in a shootout. Don't want to be in a shootout, but I sure as hell don't want to be in a 9-person gunfight. I'm saving my tribe at that point. And kind of dicey after it all settled down. It all settled down. Cars had holes in them. There's holes in the garage door, and there was just bullet holes everywhere. What made me just drop was there was a bullet hole in Queen Bee's house right above where I was standing. Woo! But it didn't stop me from carrying. It actually encouraged me more to carry for self-defense and to help out. So I'll be damned as we come around here. I'll be damned if I'm going to let Kamala Harris take my firearms. I'll be damned if I'm going to let any politician. I'm going to be damned if I let anybody come into my house and just see if I'm being safe with my firearms. What if I've got them out to clean? As a matter of fact, me and Queen Bee went to the shooting range this weekend. I have 3 pistols in my range bag right out there, right just straight up, probably 5 yards away from me, so I can reload the magazines and put them away in the safe. Yeah. But if somebody walks in, some official's going to walk in and tell, oh, well, Mr. Russell, I tell you what, this is not acceptable, what you're doing. This is absolutely unacceptable. I mean, what, unacceptable, like, did he? How about that? Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy himself, Diddy. Co-star in one of my favorite movies ever, Get Him to the Greek. I will still watch it. I don't care. Still watching Get Him to the Greek. Offered the judge a $50 million bail package. Like the attorney's like, we'll post $50 million in bail right now. Judge said, no. One of 2 things would cause that judge to say no. If he's like, okay, you are a flight risk. I think we need to shake a few things out before we let you go on bail. Or the judge is in on this, and the artist formerly known as P. Diddy will be Epstein. And a piece, I think, Greg, like that I shared on the show yesterday, was how powerful we are as media that's not mainstream. We are wildly powerful. Let me tell you why I know this. Because I put in my show notes yesterday, P. Diddy will be Epsteined, meaning P. Diddy's going to magically show up dead by apparent suicide when the cameras just happened to turn off and all the guards fell asleep. Yeah. I didn't get a little squiggly. I didn't get a little word correction, a little spelling correction on the word Epstein. Epstein did not come from MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, all the alphabets. Epstein came from us streamers, those talk radio guys that just, look, we knew what happened. Epstein didn't kill himself. Cool. So we call it Epstein. And it's now part of Word. It's now part of Google. It doesn't get spell checked if you put Epstein. Fantastic. But that shows you how we can change as streamers, how we can change secrets from the inside and other news, continue mission. We are the ones that can change all this. We have power. So much so that we can change vernacular in the Estados Unidos. And we should be proud of that. We should, I know I am. I hope Slappy becomes mainstream. Yeah, but there was a show called Goosebumps, I believe, that my kids ruined it for me. Apparently there was a possessed, like, Charlie McCarthy doll, like a ventriloquist doll. Yeah, named Slappy. Still the same. A bunch of puppets. There we go. So it all works out. Yeah, so Slappy still works out. But we put anything in the vernacular we want because we're that powerful. Megyn Kelly last week brilliantly pointed out. She's like, who's watching Rachel Maddow? What, 1 million people? Who's watching Hannity? What, 1 million people? Who cares? Her podcast, her daily, her video, her streaming reaches more than 1 million people. Donald Trump has been on 2 streams I know of that hit 100 million views. There's no cable news that are getting that. We as streamers, podcasters, influence. I hate influence. I hate the word influence, but so you just know what I'm talking about. Can and will and are changing things. Don't give me this crap. Kamala Harris. Oh, Kamala's dead eating the polls with Donald Trump. No, she is not. No, because no one is asking these streamers or the 100 million people that watch it who they're voting for. If that were the case, we'd be moving on. And again, I want to caution you before I wrap up here. I do want to caution you that the more desperate the Democrats become, the crazier this is going to get. Senator Blumenthal, some of the shadiest people you're ever going to see in all of electoral politics, is actually doing a little good in these past few days. They're getting briefed about the Butler rally, the first assassination attempt where Trump was actually hit. They're now getting around to finding out what exactly happened. And if you ask me, I'll tell you very plainly, it was allowed to happen. Period. You cannot talk me off of that. It was allowed to happen. Senator Blumenthal is being very vocal. He said he's getting very irritated. He's becoming irate at the stonewalling of the Department of Homeland Security, run by the biggest slime ball in all of electoral politics, Alejandro Mayorkas. They're completely stonewalling our own Congress, the representatives of we the people, and really finding out what the hell happened. Again, I believe in coincidences. I've just never seen one. This was allowed to happen. And it's going to get worse. So good for Ron DeSantis for staying on the gas here and actually investigating what happened in Florida. And hopefully we get to the bottom of what the hell happened today with explosives. And I'm not talking about Hezbollah. Please turn all cellular devices and pagers off, please, as we continue the program. Holy mackerel. Again, it was Israel that did it. That's CIA. Israel, CIA, same. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to thank you very, very much for allowing me to spend some time with you today. I look forward to spending many more hours with you in the future on Secrets from the Inside and getting to play with my peeps. Getting to play with Val and Greg every week is going to be an absolute treat to me. and I need to get scooting here because I do have In Other News broadcasting live coming up here in just a few moments. So as you've seen, I actually have audio, video to play. So I got to load those things up. Val, I appreciate you letting me play with you. Oh, I think you're muted. You're muted. There we go. Dip.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was fantastic. I know you have to scoot, so
Yes.
I'm just going to wrap up here. So you go do your thing. Have a great show.
I
And
appreciate it.
for those
thank
that
you.
want to for those that want to support your work real quick, how can they do that? Because we are commercial free, but how can we support you?
In Other News with Mike Russell, jump on there and just check us out and comment along. We like to play in the comments and let y'all just kind of shape the show, and we'll just take it in any direction that we want. And we'll have a good time, and we'll be open and honest and talk like grown-ups. So In Other News with Mike Russell on all platforms. You can check it out on X. It's In Other News now. That's it. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Have a great
Thanks,
week.
Val. Appreciate it,
Thank
Val. You too.
How great was that, Mike Russell, today? Wow. Okay. I loved what he said there. I'm going to wrap things up real quick. But when he said, "Am I that guy?" That story, if you're just joining, you're late on the show, go back in this episode. We learned so much about what kind of guy Mike is. And it made me think, what kind of mom am I? And Mike shared this story that I'm going to recap on my way out to wrapping up this show. But when Mike was talking about being in a store and a mom with a sweet little girl came over and didn't like that, she could see that he was carrying, and managed to convince Mike to go and take his firearm off and put it away in his vehicle to be kind. I'm hearing that and I'm going, I'm the mom that needs to take it up a notch. And when I see those men, those brave men or women who are open carrying, it is their right to do that in the United States. I'm going to go out of my way to say thank you, because fair fights don't happen. And we need to be using our Second Amendment, not handing it over. Trust me, coming from Canada, do not hand your guns over. Don't. This is your right. This is what you have to do as Americans. So being here in the United States, that's my plan. Mike inspired me in Other News today to stand up in the grocery store and say thank you. So a huge thank you to our listeners today. And if any of you open carry, I want to say thank you. Thank you, because it makes me feel safe. When you hear a pop, 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 and you don't know where it's coming from, you're looking around and you are looking for a mic. So be a Mike, be like Mike, and thank you guys for joining the show today. We've got listeners internationally today. I know there's some from the UK that I want to say hello to, Australia, Alberta, and right here in Arizona. This is Secrets from the Inside Radio Network, and you can find more on Greg Meekin's YouTube channel. So catch up on breaking news, and new news gets its news, valolsonnews.com. Thanks for joining today.